The scent hit Arya first, pine and steel, wrapped in pure alpha dominance. Her heart stopped. She knew that scent. 5 years hadn't dulled the memory of it, hadn't erased the way it once made her wolf purr with belonging before everything shattered. Arya dropped the sack of supplies and ran. The cave entrance came into view, and her worst nightmare stood there in flesh and blood. Alpha King Killian Blackwood. 6'4" of raw power, his black hair longer than she remembered, his jaw harder. He wasn't looking at her. He was staring at something in the clearing in front of her cave. Her children. Sage and Storm wrestled in the dirt, laughing. Their silver eyes, those damned, unmistakable silver eyes, caught the afternoon light. Killian's entire body had gone rigid. No. The word tore from Arya's throat. His head snapped toward her. Those same silver eyes locked onto hers, and she watched 5 years of questions flash across his face in seconds. Confusion. Recognition. Shock. Then his gaze went back to the twins. Mama. Storm spotted her first. Her son's face lit up, dirt smudged across his cheek. Inside. Now. Arya's command came out shakier than she wanted. She forced steel into her voice. Both of you. Inside the cave. Don't come out. Sage's little face crumpled. Her daughter could sense emotions, and right now, Arya's fear must have been screaming. Mama, what's wrong? Go. Storm grabbed his sister's hand. For once, he didn't argue. They disappeared into the cave's shadows. Arya forced herself to stand between Killian and the entrance. Her wolf cowered inside her, recognizing the Alpha King, wanting to submit. She shoved the instinct down brutally. Arya Winters. Killian's voice was deeper than she remembered. Rougher. You're supposed to be dead. I'm very much alive. I searched for you. He took a step closer. After you disappeared from Silverpaw, I sent trackers. They found blood. Your father said. My father lied. The bitterness tasted like ash. About a lot of things. Killian's jaw tightened. His eyes kept drifting toward the cave entrance. Those children are none of your concern. They have my eyes. Arya's hands clenched into fists. You rejected me 5 years ago. You don't get to show up now, Anne. I never rejected you. The words hit her like a physical blow. What? I never rejected you, Arya. Killian's voice turned rough. The night of the mating ceremony, you vanished. I woke up to find you gone and your father telling me you'd changed your mind. That you didn't want to be mated to me. The world tilted. That's not, he told me you rejected the bond. That you said I wasn't strong enough to be a Luna. Killian's eyes flashed gold. His wolf was rising. I said no such thing. 5 years. 5 years of believing he hadn't wanted her. 5 years of running and hiding and raising their children alone because she thought. Mama? Storm's voice came from inside the cave, defiant as always. There's a man here and he smells like us. Killian's head jerked toward the entrance. His nostrils flared. Arya watched him scent the air, watched recognition slam into him with the force of a freight train. They're mine. Not a question. A statement. His voice cracked on the last word. They're mine, Arya corrected. I raised them. I kept them safe. From me? The pain in his voice stopped her cold. You kept my children from me? I kept them from a man who rejected me. The words exploded out. What was I supposed to think? My father said you wanted nothing to do with me. That you'd already chosen someone else as Luna. That if I came back, you'd take the babies and throw me out as a rogue. Killian's face went white. Then red. His hands shook at his sides. Marcus. Your father told you this? Every word. And you believed him. Why wouldn't I? Arya's voice broke. You were the Alpha King. I was nobody. A low-ranking wolf from a nothing family. When he said you regretted the mate bond, it made sense. It made sense. Killian repeated the words like they were poison. His wolf flashed in his eyes, barely contained. You thought so little of me? Of what we had? We had one night. Arya shouted. One night where you were drunk on mate bond pheromones and I was stupid enough to believe it meant something. Then I woke up and you were gone and my father said. I was called to the northern border. There was an attack. Killian's voice turned deadly quiet. I left you a note. On the pillow. Telling you I'd be back by evening. That we'd complete the ceremony then. Arya's breath caught. There was no note. There was. His eyes bored into hers. I wrote it myself. I told you. He stopped. Closed his eyes. When he opened them again, they were pure gold. Your father. My father's been dead for 3 years. Not long enough. The growl in Killian's voice made her wolf whimper. He was holding on to control by a thread. He lied to both of us. Kept us apart. Let me think you abandoned me. Let you think I rejected you. The truth settled between them like broken glass. The twins, Killian said carefully. What are their names? Arya's protective instinct roared. Why? Because they're my children, Arya. Because I've missed 5 years of their lives. Because, his voice cracked again. Because I need to know. She hesitated. Then, Sage and Storm. The girl is Sage. Storm is the boy. Sage and Storm, he repeated softly. His eyes went distant. Do they know about me? They know their father is an alpha. They don't know which one. Arya lifted her chin. I told them you didn't know about them. That circumstances kept us apart. Circumstances. Killian's laugh was bitter. That's one word for it. Storm appeared in the cave entrance despite Arya's orders. Her son had never been good at following commands. He stared up at Killian with those identical silver eyes, fearless in a way that made Arya's heart clench. Are you our dad? Storm asked bluntly. Killian dropped to one knee. His massive frame made him nearly eye level with the 5-year-old. Yes. Storm, go back inside, Arya started. Why weren't you here before? Storm interrupted. His little hands were fisted at his sides. Mama cried sometimes. She thought we didn't hear, but Sage and I heard. Killian's face crumpled. I didn't know about you. If I had, nothing would have kept me away. Mama said you're important. An alpha king. Storm tilted his head. Are you going to take us away from her? No. Killian's voice was firm. Never. Promise? I promise. Killian looked up at Arya. His eyes were silver again, but raw with emotion. I swear on my life, on my crown, on everything I am, I will never separate you from your mother. Sage peeked out from behind her brother. She was quieter than Storm, more careful. Her gift made her sensitive to others' feelings. She studied Killian for a long moment. You're sad, she said finally. And angry. But not at us. Killian's throat worked. No, little one. Never at you. At Mama? No. He looked at Arya again. At the people who lied to us. At myself for not searching harder. At 5 years we can't get back. Arya's eyes burned. She wouldn't cry. She'd spent too many years crying already. What happens now? Her voice came out steady despite everything. Killian rose to his feet. Now we. A howl cut through the air. Then another. Pack wolves. Close. Too close. Killian's entire body went on alert. My security detail. I left them at the border, but they must have tracked me. You came alone? Arya stared at him. The Alpha King came into rogue territory alone? I was following an unusual wolf signature. I didn't expect, he gestured helplessly at the twins. At her. This. The howls grew louder. Arya could pick out at least 6 different wolves. Her cave wasn't defensible against those numbers. Storm's eyes were wide. Mama? It's okay, baby. No, Killian said. It's not. He turned to face the approaching wolves, putting himself between them and the cave. Between his pack and his family. But it will be. They're your wolves, Arya said. Tell them to stand down. And tell them what? Killian's voice was raw. That I found my supposedly dead mate and the twin children I never knew I had? That I'm about to upend pack law and political alliances because 5 years ago someone lied to us both? Arya's stomach dropped. Political alliances? Killian's silence was answer enough. You're engaged, she whispered. You're promised to someone else. Arrangement made because I thought you were dead. Because the council demanded an heir and he stopped. None of that matters now. It all matters. Arya could see it unfolding like a nightmare. You're the Alpha King. You can't just. Watch me. The first wolf burst through the trees. A massive gray beta, his lips pulled back in a warning snarl at the sight of a rogue so close to his king. More wolves appeared behind him, forming a protective semicircle. Killian's alpha command rolled out like thunder. Stand down. All of you. Now. The wolves froze. Submitted. But their eyes stayed locked on Arya, wary and hostile. My king, the gray beta shifted into human form. We tracked you here. This rogue is under my protection. Killian's voice could have cut steel. As are the children. The beta's eyes found the cave entrance. Found Storm and Sage peeking out. His face went slack with shock. Those eyes, he breathed. They're yours. Yes. But that means, the beta looked at Arya. Recognition sparked. Arya Winters. The silver paw wolf who disappeared. Everyone said she was dead. Everyone was wrong, Killian said flatly. More wolves were arriving. Word would spread through the pack like wildfire. By nightfall, every wolf in the realm would know the Alpha King had found his supposedly dead mate and secret children. Arya's careful, hidden life was over. And from the look on Killian's face as he watched their twins, from the barely leashed emotion in his eyes, everything was about to change. Chapter 2. 6 years ago. Arya had never believed in fate until the moment Killian Blackwood walked into the Crimson Peak Gathering Hall. The world tilted. Her wolf rose inside her, singing a song she'd never heard before. Mate. 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 She was nobody. A low-ranking Omega who cleaned the pack house and tended the gardens. Her wolf was small, her family unremarkable. She had no business feeling this connection to the man who would be Alpha King. But there it was. Undeniable. Devastating. Perfect. Killian's head snapped toward her across the crowded room. His silver eyes found hers, and she watched his entire body go rigid. He felt it too. She could see it in the way his nostrils flared, catching her scent. In the way his hands clenched at his sides. He crossed the room like a man in a trance. The crowd parted for him, they always did. He was power incarnate, all controlled strength and barely leashed dominance. You, he said when he reached her. His voice was rough. What's your name? Arya. Arya Winters. Arya. He said it like a prayer. Like a curse. His hand lifted, fingers brushing her cheek with unexpected gentleness. "You're mine." Her wolf preened. She should have been terrified. She was an Omega and he was about to become the most powerful alpha in the realm. The mate bond didn't care about rank or politics or sense. "Yes," she whispered. The ceremony happened fast. Too fast, maybe. Killian declared her his mate in front of his father, the current Alpha King. There were whispers, shocked faces. But Killian didn't seem to care. His eyes never left hers. "I don't care what you are," he told her that night, his forehead pressed to hers. "Omega, Beta, Alpha, it doesn't matter. You're mine. We're meant to be." Arya believed him. She was 22 and stupid with love, and the mate bond was singing through her veins like lightning. The mating ceremony was set for 3 days later. Traditional. Public. Binding. Arya wore white. Her mother cried. Her father looked grim, but she was too happy to notice. The pack gathered in the ceremonial grounds. Hundreds of wolves, all there to witness the heir to the throne claim his mate. Arya's hands shook as she walked down the aisle. Killian waited at the altar, devastating in black, his eyes locked on her like she was the only person in the world. "I've got you," he murmured when she reached him. "Always." The ceremony began. The priestess spoke the ancient words. Arya's heart felt too big for her chest. Then Beta Marcus leaned in. Whispered something in Killian's ear. Arya watched Killian's face change. Saw warmth drain away, replaced by something cold and calculating. His eyes, which had been soft with love, turned to ice. "Killian?" Her voice came out small. He stepped back. Put physical distance between them. "I can't do this," he said. The world stopped spinning. "What?" Arya's voice broke. Around them, the pack had gone silent. Waiting. Killian's jaw was tight. He wouldn't meet her eyes. "I'm sorry. This was a mistake." "A mistake?" She reached for him. He moved away from her touch like it burned. "Killian, we're mates." The bond is irrelevant." His voice was flat. Dead. Nothing like the man who'd held her last night and promised her forever. "I have responsibilities. A throne to claim. I need a mate who can strengthen my position, not weaken it." Each word was a knife. Weaken? Arya felt the eyes of hundreds on her. Felt her mother's mortification, her father's cold satisfaction. "I don't understand." "You're an Omega." Killian finally looked at her. His eyes were stranger's eyes. "I need a strong mate. A Luna who can command respect." "You'd be a liability." The pack murmured. Some in agreement. Some in pity. All of them watching her humiliation. "You said rank didn't matter." Tears burned her eyes. She hated herself for them. "You said." "I was wrong." He turned to face the pack, his voice ringing with alpha command. "I, Killian Blackwood, reject you, Arya Winters. An Omega mate would weaken my claim to the throne. I sever this bond." The snap was immediate. Agonizing. Arya's wolf howled inside her, thrashing against a cage that was suddenly too small. The bond that had felt like coming home shattered into jagged pieces. Pain unlike anything she'd ever known tore through her chest. She collapsed. Her mother screamed. Someone caught her before she hit the ground. Through the haze of agony, she saw Killian's face, blank, unmoved, already turning away. "Get her out of here," he ordered. Like she was trash. Like she was nothing. Her father dragged her away. She vomited in the bushes, her body trying to reject the severed bond. The pain went on for hours. Days. They said rejection usually killed Omegas. Their wolves couldn't survive it. Arya wished she'd died. Instead, she survived. Broken. Shattered. Her wolf a whimpering, wounded thing inside her. And then, 6 weeks later, she realized she was pregnant. Present. Mama? Arya jerked back to the present. Storm was tugging on her hand, his little face scrunched with worry. The beta wolves still surrounded them, wary and watching. Killian stood between her and his pack, solid as a mountain. I'm fine, baby. She wasn't. The memory of that day crashed over her in waves. She could still feel the bond snapping, still taste the humiliation. Killian's eyes were on her face. Sharp. Missing nothing. Arya. Don't. She cut him off. Turn to the gray beta. You need to leave. All of you. We take orders from our king, the beta said carefully. His eyes kept darting to the twins. To their silver eyes, their unmistakable features. Then your king should give the order. Arya forced steel into her voice. Tell them to leave us alone. Killian's jaw tightened. Marcus, take the others and set up a perimeter. 1 mile out. No one passes without my permission. The beta, Marcus, the same Marcus who'd whispered poison in Killian's ear 6 years ago, didn't move. My king, you can't seriously intend to stay here. With a rogue Anne. With my mate and my children. Killian's alpha command rolled out like thunder. That's an order, beta. Marcus's face went carefully blank. Of course. As you command. But his eyes found Arya, cold with suspicion and something darker. He shifted and ran, the other wolves following. Silence fell. Heavy. Suffocating. They're not your children, Arya said flatly. And I'm not your mate. You rejected me 6 years ago. Remember? I remember every moment of that day. Killian's voice was rough. I remember watching you collapse. I remember. Stop. She couldn't hear this. Couldn't let him rewrite history to soothe his conscience. You made your choice. Why do you smell like home? Storm interrupted, staring up at Killian with those too perceptive silver eyes. Mama smells like love and safety. Sage smells like flowers and music. But you, he tilted his head. You smell like the missing piece. Arya's breath caught. Her son's gift was emerging. The ability to read wolves through scent, something rare even among alphas. Storm didn't understand what he was saying, but Killian did. She could see understanding dawn across his face. Storm, go inside with your sister. Arya kept her voice gentle. But. Now. The command came from Killian, layered with alpha power. Storm's eyes went wide. Then, shockingly, he obeyed. He took Sage's hand and disappeared into the cave without argument. Don't, Arya hissed. Don't you dare use your alpha voice on my children. Our children. Killian closed the distance between them. And that's the first time Storm's obeyed a command all day, isn't it? His wolf recognizes mine. Submits to it. He submits to no one. He just did. Killian's eyes bored into hers. Tell me the truth, Arya. Are they mine? Their father is dead. The lie tasted like ash. You're lying. Believe what you want. I will. Killian reached out, his fingers brushing her arm. The touch sent electricity racing across her skin. The broken bond flared to life, painful and wrong. The mate bond never fully severed. You feel it too. I can see it in your eyes. Arya jerked away. That's impossible. You rejected me. Said the words. The bond broke. It broke, he agreed. But it didn't die. It's been there all this time, hasn't it? A phantom pain. An empty space where something should be. She said nothing. Couldn't deny it. For 6 years, she'd felt the echo of the bond, a constant ache in her chest, a sense of incompleteness that never faded. Why did you run? Killian asked. After the rejection. Your father said you left the territory. They found blood, signs of a struggle. I thought, his voice cracked. I thought you'd been killed. Blamed myself. You should blame yourself. Bitterness leaked into her words. You destroyed me that day. Humiliated me in front of hundreds of wolves. Then you want me to believe you cared what happened to me? I never stopped caring. You have a funny way of showing it. Arya. No. She cut him off. You don't get to do this. You don't get to show up here and pretend you're the victim. You rejected me. You said I was weak. A liability. Those were your words. They were lies. Killian's voice turned raw. Every word was a lie. Then why did you say them? The question she'd asked herself 1,000 times. The one that haunted her dreams. Killian looked away. His jaw worked. When he finally spoke, his voice was barely above a whisper. Because Marcus told me your father was planning to challenge my claim to the throne. That he'd use our mate bond as leverage, claim you were coerced, that an Omega couldn't consent to mating an Alpha. He said the council would side with your father. That I'd lose everything. Arya stared at him. And you believed him. I was 24 and terrified. Killian's hands clenched into fists. My father had just died. The pack was watching for any sign of weakness. Marcus said if I went through with the ceremony, your father would use you to control me. That I'd be seen as weak. Manipulated by an Omega mate. So you threw me away. I thought I was protecting my position. My pack. He finally met her eyes. I was wrong. You destroyed me. Arya's voice shook. The rejection nearly killed me. Omegas don't survive that kind of trauma. My wolf, she stopped. Couldn't finish. Her wolf had been a broken, wounded thing for months after. Some days, she still was. I know. Killian's face was etched with pain. I felt it. Through what was left of the bond. Your agony. I felt all of it. And yet you didn't come for me. You were gone. His control finally cracked. You disappeared the same night. Your father said you couldn't stand to be near me. That you'd rather die rogue than stay in a pack where I lived. I sent trackers, but the trail went cold. Then they found blood and, he stopped. I thought I'd killed you. That the rejection had been too much and you'd. I survived. Barely. Those first months had been hell. Pregnant, rejected, her wolf shattered. She'd wanted to die. Had come close more than once. Then the twins were born, and suddenly she had a reason to keep fighting. When did you find out? Killian asked quietly. About the pregnancy. 6 weeks after you rejected me. She watched him do the math. Watched horror bloom across his face. You were pregnant, he said slowly. When I rejected you. You were carrying my children and I. You rejected us all. The old pain was fresh again. So I ran. Because I knew what would happen if I stayed. You take the babies to secure your bloodline. Claim them as your heirs. And me? She laughed bitterly. I'd be discarded. Maybe kept around as an incubator if you wanted more children. Maybe thrown out as a rogue. Either way, I'd lose them. You don't know that. Don't I? Arya stepped closer. Close enough to see gold flecks in his silver eyes. You told me I was weak. A liability. You think I'd trust you with my children after that? Killian flinched. They're my children too. You gave up that right when you rejected me. I never knew about them. His voice rose. You kept them from me. 5 years, Arya. 5 years of their lives I can never get back. And whose fault is that? She was yelling now too. You're the one who rejected the mate bond. You're the one who said I wasn't good enough. I was wrong. Being wrong doesn't fix this. Tears burned her eyes. She refused to let them fall. You don't get to waltz back into my life and pretend 5 years didn't happen. You don't get to meet them for 5 minutes and claim them as yours. They are mine. Killian's voice was deadly quiet. I can feel it in my bones. Their scent, their eyes, the way Storm's wolf responded to mine, they're my children, Arya. And nothing you say will change that. Then what? She threw up her hands. What happens now? You drag us back to your pack. Force me to watch you raise them while you marry whatever Luna the council picked for you? Killian went still. How did you know about that? Your Beta's face when he saw them. The way he looked at me. Arya's laugh was hollow. You're engaged. Promised to someone else. The council got their way after all. It's not like that. Isn't it? Victoria Blackthorne. The council arranged it 2 years ago. Killian's voice was flat. A political alliance. She's the daughter of the Northern Alpha. Strong bloodline. Perfect breeding. Everything an Alpha King needs in a Luna. Each word was a dagger. Congratulations, Arya said bitterly. I haven't touched her. Killian stepped closer. Haven't completed the bond. Because every time I tried, all I could see was you. Collapsed on the ground. Broken because of me. Stop. I searched for you for years. Even after everyone said you were dead, I kept looking. Kept hoping. Stop. Arya pressed her hands over her ears. I don't want to hear this. Killian gently pulled her hands away. His touch sent sparks racing up her arms. The damaged bond thrummed painfully to life. I'm not leaving, he said quietly. I'm staying in this territory until we figure this out. There's nothing to figure out. The twins' father is dead. You're engaged. We're done here. We'll never be done. His silver eyes burned into hers. The bond didn't break completely. You feel it. I know you do. Every time we touch. Every time you look at me. She did feel it. A ghost of what they'd had, painful and wrong but still there. Still pulling at her. It doesn't matter, she whispered. The bond is broken. You saw to that. Then why does it still hurt? Killian's thumb brushed her cheek. When had she started crying? Why does my wolf howl for you every night? Why do I still dream about you? Guilt. Arya stepped back, breaking contact. You feel guilty for what you did. I feel a lot more than guilt. Well, I feel nothing. Another lie. She felt too much. The broken bond was agony. Having him here, so close, smelling like home and safety and everything she'd lost, it was torture. Liar, Killian said softly. Storm appeared in the cave entrance again. Her stubborn, fearless son. Are you fighting because of us? No, baby. Arya wiped her eyes quickly. We're just talking. You're crying. Storm looked at Killian accusingly. You made Mama cry. Storm, Arya started. I'm sorry, Killian said. He crouched down, meeting Storm eye to eye. I never want to make your mother cry. We have things we need to talk about. Grown-up things. Are you going to take us away? Sage appeared beside her brother. Her empathic gift must be going haywire with all the emotion in the air. No, Killian said firmly. I promised you I wouldn't. I keep my promises. Mama doesn't believe you, Sage said with the blunt honesty of a 5-year-old. She's scared you'll hurt us. Killian's face crumpled. He looked at Arya, raw pain in his eyes. I would die before I hurt any of you. You already did, Arya said quietly. 6 years ago. You hurt me so badly I thought I'd die. And now you want me to trust you with them? She shook her head. I can't. I won't. Then I'll earn it. Killian stood. However long it takes. Whatever I have to do. I'll earn your trust back. You're engaged. I'll break it. You can't. Arya forced herself to think politically. The Northern Pack. They'll see it as an insult. It could start a war. I don't care. You should care. You're the Alpha King. You have responsibilities. My first responsibility is to my mate and my children. Killian's alpha command rang in every word. Everything else is secondary. I'm not your mate anymore. Yes, he said quietly. You are. The Bond knows it. Our wolves know it. And deep down, so do you. Arya wanted to argue. Wanted to scream at him to leave and never come back. But Storm was watching them with those two knowing silver eyes. And Sage's little face was scrunched with confusion and hope. Her children had never had a father. Had grown up with just her, loving her, yes, but also missing something they'd never quite been able to name. The missing piece, Storm had called him. You can stay, Arya heard herself say. In the territory. 1 week. That's all I'm giving you. I'll take it. But you don't get to claim them. You don't get to tell anyone they're yours. And you absolutely don't get to use your alpha voice on them or me ever again. Killian nodded slowly. Agreed. And when the week is over, you leave. You go back to your perfect Luna and your throne and you forget we exist. That's one condition I can't agree to. Killian's eyes were steady on hers. I'll never forget you exist. Not again. The broken bond flared between them, painful and alive. Arya felt her wolf stir, that broken, wounded part of her that had never fully healed. She was making a mistake. She knew it in her bones. Letting Killian stay, even for a week, was dangerous. He'd already destroyed her once. Given the chance, he'd do it again. But Storm was smiling. And Sage looked lighter than she had in days. And maybe, just maybe, they deserved to know their father. Even if it killed her. 1 week, she repeated. Killian's smile was small but genuine. 1 week. As he turned to set up camp, Marcus appeared at the tree line. The beta's eyes found Arya, cold with calculation. She'd seen that look before. 6 years ago, right before he'd whispered poison in Killian's ear. He knew the truth. She could see it in his face. And if Marcus knew, it was only a matter of time before everyone else did too. Her careful, hidden life was unraveling. And she had no idea how to stop it. Chapter 3. The gift started the next morning. Arya woke to find a deer carcass hanging from a tree near the cave entrance, already cleaned and butchered. Fresh. Still warm. The cut marks were precise, an expert kill. Storm found it first. Mama. Look. Someone left us food. Arya's stomach twisted. She knew exactly who'd left it. The second day brought supplies, flour, salt, herbs, dried fruit. Things she'd have to travel hours to the rogue market to buy. They appeared in a neat pile just beyond the cave, wrapped in oilcloth to keep them dry. It's like having a fairy godmother, Sage said, her eyes wide. But bigger. And scarier. The third day brought furs. Thick, warm pelts that would make their cave bearable as winter approached. Storm immediately rolled around on them, laughing. Mama, these are so soft. Can we keep them? Arya stared at the furs, her jaw tight. She could see Killian's camp from here, a simple tent set up about half a mile away. Close enough to keep watch. Far enough to not crowd her. She'd caught glimpses of him throughout the days. Running patrol in wolf form. Sitting by his fire at night. Always watching. Always waiting. "We're sending them back," she said. "But Mama." "No." Her voice was firm. "We don't accept gifts from strangers." "He's not a stranger," Storm argued. "He's..." "Enough." Arya cut him off before he could finish that thought. Before he could say the word that would change everything. "Father." But Storm's eyes were too knowing for a 5-year-old. He looked at her with Killian's face, Killian's expressions, and she saw him putting the pieces together. Her brilliant, stubborn son who'd always been too smart for his own good. The 4th day brought wooden toys. A carved wolf for Storm, a delicate bird for Sage. Both were beautiful, clearly handmade. Storm clutched the wolf like it was treasure. "It looks like him," he whispered. "The big alpha. When he's in wolf form." Arya's heart clenched. She'd seen Killian's wolf yesterday, massive and black with silver eyes that glowed in the darkness. Storm was right. The carving was perfect. "How do you know what he looks like as a wolf?" Arya asked carefully. Storm ducked his head. "I snuck out last night. Wanted to see his camp. He was there, by the fire. Then he shifted and ran patrol." Her son looked up at her with guilty eyes. "I'm sorry, Mama. I know you said to stay in the cave after dark." Arya pulled him close, her heart racing. "Storm, you can't do that. It's dangerous." "But he didn't hurt me. He saw me, I know he did. His wolf looked right at me. But he just watched. Made sure I got back safe." Of course he did. Killian would never hurt his son. The problem was, Storm was starting to figure that out. The 5th day brought blankets and a book of children's stories. Sage spent the entire afternoon curled up with it, sounding out words she didn't know. Storm practiced his reading over her shoulder, both of them absorbed. Arya wanted to be angry. Wanted to throw everything back in Killian's face. But watching her children, who'd had so little their whole lives, delight in these simple gifts, she couldn't bring herself to do it. She was weakening. She knew it. And so did Killian. On the 6th day, he came himself. Arya was skinning rabbits when his scent hit her. Pine and steel and alpha dominance. She didn't look up, just kept working her knife along the hide. "The gifts need to stop," she said. "The gifts are for my children." His voice was closer than she expected. She glanced up to find him standing at the edge of her workspace, his silver eyes tracking the movement of her hands. "They should have everything they need. They have everything they need. We've survived 5 years without your help." Survived. Killian's jaw tightened. They should be thriving. They should have warm beds and full bellies and safety. Not living in a cave, barely scraping by. "We're fine." "You're not fine. Storm is underweight. Sage has a cough. You have circles under your eyes like you haven't slept in days." Arya's hand stilled on the rabbit. "Have you been watching us?" "Every moment since I found you." No apology in his voice. Just fact. "Storm sneaks out at night. Sage has nightmares. And you," his voice softened. "You barely sleep. You're guarding them. Always alert. Never resting. That's what mothers do. That's what fathers do too." He crouched down beside her. Too close. She could feel the heat of him. "Let me help." "I don't need your help. The twins do." He glanced toward the cave where Storm and Sage were playing. "They need stability. Protection. A pack. They have me. They need more than one person, Arya. Children need community. Other wolves to learn from. To play with. They have each other. And that's enough?" Killian's eyes bored into hers. You really think that's enough? Arya wanted to say yes. Wanted to tell him they were perfectly happy. But she'd seen the loneliness in her children's eyes when they watched other wolf pups play at the rogue market. Had heard Storm ask why they couldn't have friends. Had watched Sage cry because she was different, strange, her empathic gift making her too sensitive for the rough-and-tumble rogue children. We manage, she said finally. You shouldn't have to just manage. Killian reached out, his fingers brushing her jaw. The touch sent electricity through her. The broken bond flared painfully. Come back with me. To the royal pack. You and the twins. 1 moon cycle. That's all I ask. Arya jerked away from his touch. Absolutely not. Why not? Because I'm not walking back into that hell. The memories crashed over her. The humiliation. The rejection. The wolves who'd watched her fall apart and done nothing. You want me to go back to the place where you destroyed me? The pack that watched you reject me and didn't lift a finger to help? It's not the same pack anymore, Killian said quietly. My father is dead. Half the council has changed. The wolves who witnessed the rejection, most of them are gone. Transferred. Died. Moved on. And the ones who stayed? They'll remember. They'll know exactly who I am. Let them. Alpha command bled into his voice. You're my mate. The mother of my children. Anyone who disrespects you will answer to me. I'm not your mate anymore. The bond never fully broke. You know it didn't. He stood, towering over her. Come to the royal pack. Let the pack healer examine the twins. Let me prove they're mine. And if I refuse? Killian's eyes went hard. Then I'll investigate on my own. And trust me, Arya, you won't like my methods. It wasn't a request. It was a threat. Arya rose to her feet, knife still in hand. Are you threatening me? I'm telling you how this plays out if you fight me. He didn't back down. These children are clearly highborn. Their power signatures are too strong for common rogue blood. Storm has premature alpha command. Sage has empathic abilities rare even among royal lines. You expect me to believe their father was some random rogue? Their father is dead. So you keep saying. Killian stepped closer. But you're lying. I can smell it on you. Every time you tell that story, your heart rate spikes. Your scent changes. You're terrified I'll find out the truth. There's nothing to find out. Then come with me. His voice turned coaxing. Dangerous. 1 moon cycle at the royal pack. If you prove they're not mine, if the healer confirms their bloodline is from someone else, I'll give you protected territory. Papers. Official recognition. You and the twins will never have to hide again. Arya's breath caught. Protected territory was the dream of every rogue. It meant safety. Legitimacy. The twins could grow up normal, go to pack school, have friends. And if the healer confirms they are yours? She forced the words out. Killian's eyes blazed. Then we figure out what comes next. Together. There is no together. You're engaged. I'll break it. You can't just. Watch me. Alpha power rolled off him in waves. I've spent 6 years thinking you were dead. Mourning you. Hating myself. Now I find out you're alive and I have children, my children, and you expect me to just walk away? Yes. Never. The word was a vow. A threat. A promise. I'm not letting you disappear again. You don't have a choice. Neither do you. Killian's voice went deadly quiet. 1 moon cycle at the royal pack. That's my offer. The alternative is I use my position as Alpha King to investigate every rogue in this territory. I'll find out who knew about you. Who helped you hide? Who's been protecting you? And I'll make their lives very difficult until I get answers. You wouldn't. Try me. His silver eyes were cold. I've spent 6 years being reasonable. Being patient. Searching quietly. That ends now. You're coming to the royal pack, willingly or otherwise. Your choice. Arya's hands shook. She wanted to tell him to go to hell. Wanted to run, grab the twins, and disappear again. But she'd seen Killian operate before. When he wanted something, he was relentless. He'd hunt them to the ends of the earth if he had to. And he had the power to do it. The resources. The authority. She was trapped. 1 moon cycle, she said finally. That's all you get. That's all I need. His expression softened slightly. Thank you. Don't thank me. I'm doing this for them. Not for you. I know. He looked toward the cave where the twins were still playing. They deserve better than this. Better than hiding. Better than scraping by. They have love. That's more than many children get. Love isn't enough when they're hungry. When they're cold. When Storm asks why he can't have friends and you have to lie to him. The words hit too close to home. Arya turned away. When do we leave? Tomorrow morning. I'll have Marcus arrange transport. No. The name made her blood run cold. Not Marcus. Killian frowned. He's my beta. He'll need to coordinate. I don't want him anywhere near my children. The words came out sharper than she intended. Why not? Because I know what he did. Because he's the reason you rejected me. Because he looked at me like I was garbage 6 years ago and I'll never forget it. But she couldn't say that. Not without admitting the twins were Killian's. Not without opening that door. I don't trust him, she said instead. Marcus has been my beta for 8 years. He's loyal. Trustworthy. He's a snake. The words slipped out before she could stop them. Killian's eyes sharpened. What do you know about Marcus? Too much. Not enough. Before Arya could answer, a familiar scent hit the air. Pine and earth and something darker. Calculating. Marcus himself stepped out of the tree line. The beta looked exactly the same as he had 6 years ago. Tall, lean, with gray eyes that missed nothing. Those eyes found Arya and went wide with recognition. You, he breathed. Arya's heart stopped. She saw the moment he put it together. Saw him look at the twins playing in the cave entrance. Saw his gaze track from their silver eyes to Killian's face and back again. His expression went carefully blank. My king, Marcus said smoothly. I came to report that the Northern Alpha's daughter has arrived at the royal pack. Victoria is asking when you'll return to finalize the mating ceremony. The words landed like bombs. Killian's jaw tightened. Tell her I'm delayed. She's been asking about the rumors. Marcus's eyes slid to Arya. About you finding your supposedly dead mate. And children. What rumors? Killian's voice dropped to a dangerous octave. Word travels fast, my king. The wolves who saw them, Marcus gestured vaguely toward the cave. They're talking. Saying the children have your eyes. Your presence. That they're clearly royal born. Arya felt the walls closing in. She'd known this would happen. Known secrets couldn't stay buried forever. Let them talk, Killian said coldly. Victoria won't be pleased. Neither will her father. Marcus's voice was mild, but there was steel underneath. The Northern Alliance is fragile. If you're seen to be dishonoring the engagement. I don't give a damn about the Northern Alliance. Perhaps you should. Marcus finally looked directly at Arya. His eyes were cold. Knowing. After all, my king, you rejected your true mate once before to preserve political alliances. Are you really going to throw everything away now? For a rogue and her bastards? The words hung in the air like poison. Killian moved so fast Arya barely saw it. One moment he was beside her. The next, he had Marcus by the throat, lifted off the ground. Say that again, Killian growled. I dare you. Marcus didn't struggle. Just met his alpha's eyes steadily. I'm only speaking truth, my king. 6 years ago, you made the hard choice. The right choice. You put the pack first. By destroying my mate? Killian's grip tightened. By believing your lies about her father? About political machinations that never existed? Arya's breath caught. So Killian had figured it out. Had realized Marcus had manipulated him. I protected you, Marcus said. His voice was strained but steady. That Omega would have weakened your position. Made you vulnerable. I saved you from making a mistake. You made me destroy the one person who mattered. Killian threw him to the ground. Get out. You're relieved of duty. Marcus climbed to his feet, brushing dirt from his clothes. His eyes found Arya again, and she saw the calculation there. The threat. As you command, my king. He bowed mockingly. But know this, when the council finds out about this, about her and those children, they'll demand answers. They'll want proof. Blood tests. Verification of lineage. His smile was cold. And if those children are proven to be yours, every wolf in the realm will remember how you rejected their mother. How you called her weak. A liability. They'll question your judgment. Your fitness to rule. Out, Killian snarled. Now. Marcus left, but his words lingered like smoke. Arya felt sick. She'd known coming out of hiding was dangerous. But hearing it laid out so starkly, the political consequences, the scrutiny the twins would face, the judgment that would fall on all of them, it was worse than she'd imagined. He's right, she said quietly. He's wrong. Killian turned to her, his eyes blazing. I don't care what the council thinks. I don't care about politics or alliances or... You should care. Arya stepped back. You're the Alpha King. Your decisions affect thousands of wolves. You can't just throw it all away because I found my mate and my children? Killian's laugh was bitter. Watch me. Killian. No. He closed the distance between them. 6 years ago, I let politics and fear drive my decisions. I destroyed us. I won't make that mistake again. It's not that simple. It is exactly that simple. His hands framed her face. The touch sent sparks racing through her. Come to the royal pack. Let me fix this. Let me prove to you, to everyone, that I'm not the same man who rejected you. Arya wanted to believe him. Wanted to think he'd really changed. But Marcus's words echoed in her mind. You rejected your true mate once before to preserve political alliances. What's to stop him from doing it again? 1 moon cycle, she said. But if I sense any threat to my children, if anyone tries to take them from me, I'm gone. And you'll never find us again. Fair enough. Killian's thumb brushed her cheek. I'll assign guards. Keep you safe. No one will touch them. I swear it. Your promises don't mean much to me. The words were cruel, but true. She watched him flinch. Then I'll prove it through actions. He dropped his hands, stepping back. We leave at dawn. Pack light. Anything you need, I'll provide. He walked away, leaving Arya standing in the clearing with her heart pounding and her future uncertain. From the cave entrance, Storm watched with his 2 knowing eyes. We're going with him, her son said. Not a question. A statement. Just for a little while, Arya said. To his pack. Storm's eyes gleamed. Where we'll be safe. Where we'll have a home. This is our home. No, Mama. Storm looked at her with Killian's face, Killian's intensity. This is where we hide. There's a difference. Sage appeared beside her brother. The big alpha is good, Mama. Lonely and sad and angry, but good. I can feel it. Feeling isn't knowing, Arya said. But knowing isn't feeling either. Sage's empathic gift made her wise beyond her years. And you need to feel things to understand them. The truth of that statement hit Arya like a punch. She'd spent 6 years refusing to feel. Burying her pain. Her anger. Her broken heart. She'd survived by going numb. But numbness had kept her in this cave. In hiding. In fear. Maybe it was time to feel again. Even if it destroyed her. That night, Arya packed what little they owned. 3 bags. That was all they had to show for 5 years of living. She watched the twins sleep, curled together for warmth. They looked so small. So vulnerable. She was taking them into danger. Into the royal pack where they'd be scrutinized and judged and possibly rejected just as she'd been. But she was also giving them a chance. A real chance at a normal life. Even if it cost her everything. Through the cave entrance, she could see Killian's fire. He sat beside it, his profile sharp in the firelight. As if sensing her gaze, he looked up. Their eyes met across the distance. The broken bond thrummed painfully. For better or worse, tomorrow everything would change. Arya just hoped they'd all survive it. Chapter 4. The Moonstone Palace rose from the mountainside like something out of a dream, or a nightmare. Arya had seen it before, 6 years ago. But seeing it now, with her children beside her, made her stomach churn. The sprawling fortress gleamed white in the morning sun, its towers reaching toward the sky. Behind it, the sacred peak loomed, snow-capped and eternal. This place had destroyed her once. She was willingly walking back into its jaws. Mama, it's beautiful. Sage pressed her face against the car window, her eyes wide. Storm was quieter, but his silver eyes tracked everything. The guards at the gates, the wolves patrolling the perimeter, the sheer size of the pack territory spreading out below them. How many wolves live here? He asked. About 1,500, Killian answered from the driver's seat. He'd insisted on driving them himself, no guards, no entourage. Just the 4 of them. The royal pack is the largest in the realm. That's a lot of wolves, Storm said thoughtfully. Do they all answer to you? They do. And they all have to obey you? Even if they don't want to? Killian's eyes met Arya's in the rearview mirror. Alpha command is complicated. It's not just about forcing obedience. It's about protecting the pack. Keeping order. But you could make them do anything, Storm pressed. Right? If you wanted to. I could. Killian's voice was careful. But a good alpha doesn't rule through force alone. He earns his pack's respect. Their loyalty. Did you earn Mama's loyalty? Storm's question was innocent, but it landed like a bomb. Killian's hands tightened on the steering wheel. No. I failed your mother. Badly. But you're trying to fix it now? Yes. Good. Storm nodded, satisfied. Because Mama deserves good things. And Sage and me, we're good things. So if you want to be part of our family, you have to treat Mama good. Understand? Arya's throat tightened. Her 5-year-old son, defending her honor to the Alpha King. Killian pulled the car to a stop in front of the palace steps. He turned to face Storm fully. I understand. And you have my word, I will never hurt your mother again. You better not, Storm said seriously. Because if you do, when I'm big enough, I'll challenge you. And I'll win. The declaration should have been funny, a child threatening the Alpha King. But the alpha power that radiated from Storm in that moment was real. Premature. Startling. Killian's eyes widened slightly. "You're strong," he said quietly. "Stronger than any child I've ever met. Sage is strong too. Just different." Storm reached for his sister's hand. "We protect each other. And Mama. Always." "Always," Sage echoed. Arya's heart swelled and broke at the same time. Her babies. Her fierce, protective babies. The palace doors opened. Wolves poured out, guards, servants, pack members drawn by the arrival of their king. And beside him, the mysterious rogue and her children. The whispers started immediately. "Is that her? The Omega who disappeared? Look at those children, they have his eyes. Bastards. They have to be bastards." Arya lifted her chin. She'd faced this before. She could face it again. Killian stepped out of the car, his alpha presence rolling over the assembled crowd like thunder. "Enough," he commanded. "Arya Winters and her children are under my personal protection. Anyone who disrespects them answers to me. Directly." The whispers cut off like someone had thrown a switch. A woman pushed through the crowd. Tall, beautiful, with auburn hair and green eyes. She wore silk and jewels, moved with the confidence of someone who belonged here. Her scent marked her as high-ranking. Powerful. Lady Cassandra Thornwood. Arya recognized her from pack gossip. The daughter of the Western Alpha. Ambitious. Cunning. And according to rumors, Killian's former lover. "My king." Cassandra's voice was honey over steel. "You return with guests. How unexpected." "Lady Cassandra." Killian's tone was polite but distant. "Please arrange guest quarters for Arya and her children. The East Wing. Near my own chambers." Cassandra's smile didn't reach her eyes. "Guest quarters? For a rogue? Surely the servant wing would be more appropriate." "The East Wing," Killian repeated. His alpha command made it clear this wasn't up for discussion. Cassandra's eyes slid to Arya. The disdain was naked on her face. "Of course, my king. Though I wonder if you're aware of the rumor spreading. They say these children are yours. That this person claims to be your mate." "Arya is my mate," Killian said flatly. "Was my mate. The bond was damaged years ago." "Damaged but not broken," Cassandra said sweetly. "How convenient. Just in time to disrupt your engagement to Victoria Blackthorn." Her eyes hardened. "The Northern Alliance is already sending protests. Victoria's father is demanding explanations." "Let him demand." Killian opened the car door, helping Sage out. The little girl looked nervous, overwhelmed by the crowd. He scooped her up without thinking, settling her on his hip. "Everyone will have their answers soon enough." The crowd's murmur rose again. Seeing their king hold a child with his eyes, his features, made the rumors real. Undeniable. "She's an Omega," Cassandra said, her voice pitched to carry. "Weak. Low-ranking. The king needs a proper queen, not Omega trash who." Killian's snarl cut her off. "Finish that sentence and you'll find yourself exiled. Are we clear?" Cassandra paled but held her ground. "I'm only saying what everyone is thinking, my king. The pack deserves better. You deserve better. What I deserve is none of your concern." Killian handed Sage to Arya and turned to face his pack. "Let me be absolutely clear. Arya Winters is under my protection. Her children are under my protection. Anyone who threatens them, insults them, or makes them feel unwelcome will be removed from this pack. I don't care about your rank or your lineage. This is not negotiable." His alpha command rolled over the assembled wolves like a wave. They bowed their heads. Submitted. But Arya saw the resentment in their eyes. The judgment. She was the outsider. The Omega who'd dared to catch the Alpha King's attention. They'd never accept her. Come, Killian said quietly to Arya. I'll show you to your rooms. The east wing was stunning. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the mountains. Thick carpets. Comfortable furniture. A bathroom with actual running water and a tub big enough to swim in. The twins explored with wide eyes, running from room to room, exclaiming over everything. They'd never lived in a real house before. Never had beds with mattresses or dressers or toys that weren't handmade. Arya watched them, her heart aching. They deserve this, Killian said softly beside her. Comfort. Safety. Normalcy. They were safe with me. I know. He didn't argue, which somehow made it worse. But they deserve more than just safe. They deserve to be children. Storm found a room with weapons mounted on the wall, decorative swords and shields from past battles. His eyes lit up. Can I train? He asked Killian eagerly. With the warriors? Mama teaches me, but she says I need to learn proper forms. You train? Killian looked surprised. Every morning, Storm said proudly. I'm getting really good. Mama says I'm a natural. I bet you are. Killian's voice was thick with emotion. I'll arrange for you to train with the young warriors. If that's okay with your mother. Storm turned pleading eyes on Arya. Please, Mama. Please. How could she deny him this? He'd been begging to train with other wolves for years. To test himself. To learn. Fine, she said. But you follow every instruction. No showing off. No using your alpha voice on the other children. I promise. Storm was already bouncing on his toes with excitement. Sage found the library later that afternoon. It was 3 stories tall, filled with thousands of books. The little girl stood in the center, spinning slowly, her mouth open in wonder. I've never seen so many books, she whispered. An elderly female wolf appeared, her gray hair pulled back, her eyes kind. You like to read, little one? Sage nodded shyly. I'm Miriam, the pack librarian. You're welcome here anytime. Miriam smiled. We have a children's section. Stories, adventures, fairy tales. Whatever you like. Really? Sage's face glowed. I can come whenever I want. Whenever the library is open. Though I'm usually here, so that's most days. Sage threw her arms around Miriam's legs. Thank you. The librarian looked startled, then pleased. She patted Sage's head gently. You're very welcome, dear. Watching her children thrive. Even after just a few hours, made Arya's chest tight. They were blooming. Coming alive in ways they never had in the cave. Maybe Killian was right. Maybe they did deserve more than just survival. But at what cost? That night, Arya couldn't sleep. The bed was too soft. The room too quiet. She was used to the sounds of the cave, dripping water, shifting stone, the wind whistling through cracks. She wandered the halls, trying to memorize the layout. Exits. Hiding places. Escape routes. Old habits. Voices drew her attention. Coming from a partially open door. Disaster waiting to happen. That was Marcus. Despite being relieved of duty, he was apparently still here. Still whispering poison. Those children will tear the pack apart. They're just children. A female voice. Unfamiliar. They're weapons. Marcus's voice was cold. Did you see the boy? He has Alpha command already. At 5 years old. That's unheard of. Unnatural. Maybe he's just strong. Or maybe his mother is more than she appears. Papers rustled. I've been digging into Arya Winters's background. There are gaps. Inconsistencies. Her family lineage doesn't add up. Arya's blood ran cold. She pressed herself against the wall, listening. What do you mean? The female voice asked. Her father claimed to be a minor beta. Low-ranking. Nothing special. But I found records, old records, buried deep in the archives. Her grandmother wasn't just some pack wolf. She was a Lara Moonshadow. Silence. Then, the Moon Priestess? But that bloodline was supposed to be extinct. Supposed to be. Marcus's voice turned calculating. But what if it wasn't? What if Arya Winters carries Moon Priestess blood? That would explain the children's unusual abilities. Storm's premature alpha power. Sage's empathic gifts. It would also explain why the council was so insistent that Killian reject her 6 years ago. Arya's heart stopped. Exactly, Marcus said. Moon priestesses could see the future. Read prophecies in the stars. A mate with that kind of power would make Killian unstoppable. He could predict threats, anticipate wars, manipulate events before they happened. Or, the female voice said slowly, she could see his future and control him with that knowledge. The council feared he'd become a puppet to his mate's visions. Which is why they ordered me to separate them. Marcus sounded almost satisfied. It was for the good of the realm. Killian was young, impressionable. One night with his fated mate and he was ready to throw away his duty. His throne. Everything. The council couldn't allow it. So you made him reject her. I saved him from making a catastrophic mistake. Marcus's voice hardened. And I'll save him again if I have to. Those children can't stay here. If the other packs discover Arya's bloodline, they'll either try to steal her or kill her. Either way, it ends in war. What are you going to do? What I should have done 6 years ago. Make sure she disappears. Permanently this time. Arya didn't wait to hear more. She ran. Her mind raced as she fled back to her rooms. Moon Priestess blood. Her grandmother. The council's manipulation. Marcus hadn't just convinced Killian to reject her out of spite or ambition. It had been ordered. Orchestrated. A conspiracy to keep her away from the Alpha King. Because they feared what she could become. What her children could become. She burst into her rooms and immediately started packing. They had to leave. Now. Before Marcus made his move. Going somewhere? Arya spun. Killian stood in the doorway connecting their rooms. He wore sleep pants and nothing else. His chest was scarred, marks from battles she'd missed. His silver eyes were sharp despite the late hour. I can't stay here, Arya said. We're leaving. Why? He stepped into the room, closing the door behind him. What happened? Marcus knows. About my bloodline. She stopped, realizing she'd revealed too much. About what bloodline? Killian's voice went dangerously quiet. Arya, what are you talking about? She could lie. Should lie. But the words tumbled out anyway. My grandmother was a Lara Moonshadow. A moon priestess. The council found out 6 years ago. That's why they made you reject me. Killian stared at her. That's not possible. The moon priestess line died out decades ago. It didn't die. It hid. Arya's hands shook as she shoved clothes into a bag. And now Marcus knows. He's planning something. I heard him. He said I have to disappear. Permanently. He said that? Killian's alpha power filled the room. He threatened you? Not directly. But I know what it means. Arya looked up at him. He's going to kill me, Killian. And probably take the twins. Use their bloodline for whatever scheme he's planning. Over my dead body. Killian crossed to her, taking her shoulders. You're not leaving. Not without protection. Not without. Without what? You? Arya laughed bitterly. You chose power over me once before. The council told you to reject me and you did. You didn't question it. Didn't fight for me. You just obeyed. I didn't know. Killian's voice cracked. Marcus said it was political. Your father's ambitions. He never mentioned Moon Priestess bloodlines or council orders or, he stopped. God. They played me. Used me. And you let them. Arya pulled away from his touch. That's what hurts the most. You could have chosen me. Chosen us. But you didn't. I was 24 and terrified. My father had just died. The pack was watching for any sign of weakness. Marcus said your father was going to challenge my claim. My father was a nobody. Arya's voice rose. He had no power, no ambitions beyond climbing the pack ranks. Marcus lied to you. I know that now. But you didn't question it then. You just accepted it. Accepted that I wasn't worth fighting for. The words hung between them like broken glass. Killian's face was ravaged. You're right. I failed you. I should have questioned everything. Should have demanded proof. Should have trusted what my wolf was telling me, that you were mine and nothing else mattered. But you didn't trust it. You trusted Marcus instead. Arya felt tears burning her eyes. You chose the council's approval over our bond. Yes. The admission seemed to cost him. I did. And I've regretted it every day since. Regret doesn't fix this. I know. He stepped closer. But maybe understanding does. Maybe knowing I was manipulated, that we both were, maybe that's a starting point. A starting point for what? For forgiveness. His hand lifted, cupping her cheek. I'm not asking you to forget. I'm not asking you to pretend it didn't happen. I'm just asking you to try to see that I'm not the same man who rejected you. Arya wanted to pull away. Wanted to hold on to her anger, her hurt. But his touch was gentle. And the broken bond between them was singing, desperate to reconnect. The council feared you, Killian said quietly. Feared what you could become. A moon priestess mate would have made me too powerful. Too dangerous to control. So they destroyed us instead. Yes. His thumb brushed her cheek. But they failed. Because you survived. The twins survived. And now we have a chance to. To what? Arya interrupted. Pretend 6 years didn't happen. Play happy family while Marcus plots my murder. To fight back. Killian's eyes blazed. To expose the council's corruption. To make them pay for what they did to us. That's not my fight. Yes, it is. His voice was fierce. They took your choice. Your mate. Your future. They forced you into hiding, made you live in fear. Don't you want justice? She did. God help her, she did. But justice meant staying here. Meant risking everything. I want my children safe, Arya said. That's all I've ever wanted. Then stay. Let me protect you. Let me. A howl cut through the night. Then another. The pack alarm. Killian's head snapped up. That's the intruder alert. He was already moving, shifting into wolf form mid-stride. Massive and black with silver eyes that glowed in the darkness. Arya's wolf rose inside her, responding to the danger. She shifted too, her smaller brown wolf following Killian into the hallway. Other wolves were emerging from their rooms, responding to the alarm. They poured into the corridors, heading for the source of the disturbance. The scent hit Arya first. Rogue wolves. Lots of them. But underneath the rogue stench was something else. Something familiar. Wolfsbane. Her blood froze. Wolfsbane weakened wolves, made them vulnerable. Someone had armed the rogues with it. This wasn't a random attack. This was an assassination attempt. And she knew exactly who was behind it. Killian reached the courtyard first. A dozen rogue wolves circled there, snarling and snapping. But they weren't trying to get into the palace. They were creating a distraction. Because the real attack was happening elsewhere. Arya's wolf knew it in her bones. She wheeled around, running back toward the east wing. Toward her children. She crashed through the door to find Storm and Sage huddled together on the bed, their eyes wide with fear. A figure stood over them, a knife in his hand. Marcus. Step away from them, Arya snarled, her wolf's voice echoing in the room. Marcus smiled. I was hoping you'd come back. Makes this easier. He lunged. Arya met him mid-leap, her jaws closing on his arm. He screamed, dropping the knife. They crashed to the floor, a tangle of fur and fury. Marcus was stronger, better trained. But Arya was a mother protecting her children. She fought with everything she had, teeth and claws and desperate strength. Blood sprayed. Marcus's or hers, she couldn't tell. Then another wolf was there, massive and black, with silver eyes full of murder. Killian. He tore Marcus away from Arya with brutal efficiency. The beta didn't stand a chance. Within seconds, Killian had him pinned, jaws at his throat. Don't kill him, Arya said, shifting back to human form. Her body was covered in wounds, but she ignored them. We need answers. Killian shifted too, keeping Marcus pinned with one hand around his throat. Start talking. Now. Marcus laughed, blood bubbling from his lips. You think this ends with me? The council will never let her live. Never let those children survive. They're too dangerous. The council doesn't rule me. No. Marcus's eyes were cold. But they can destroy you. One word from them and every pack in the realm will turn on you. You'll be seen as unstable. Unfit. And those bastards, he looked at the twins. They'll be hunted. Killed. Their bloodline erased. Not while I'm alive, Killian growled. Then you'll die too. Marcus's smile was terrible. It's already begun. The Northern Alpha is pulling his support. The Western packs are demanding your resignation. And the Council, they're convening an emergency session. To decide your fate. Let them decide. Killian's voice was deadly calm. I'm done playing their games. He looked at Arya. At the twins. At the family he'd found and lost and found again. We fight, he said simply. Together. Arya saw her future splitting before her. She could run, take the twins and disappear again. Live in hiding but live. Or she could stay. Fight beside Killian. Risk everything for a chance at justice. At revenge. At family. Storm climbed off the bed, walking to Killian on steady legs. You're our dad, he said. Not a question. A statement. I knew it. From the beginning. Sage followed her brother. Mama needs you. We all need you. The twins stood between them, living proof of what they'd been, what they'd lost, what they could still become. Killian's eyes found Arya's. I'm sorry, he said. For all of it. For being weak. For choosing wrong. For letting them use me to hurt you. I know, Arya said quietly. Can you forgive me? She looked at her children. At the man who destroyed her and the man who wanted to rebuild what they'd lost. I don't know, she said honestly. But I'm willing to try. It wasn't a declaration of love. Wasn't a promise of forever. But it was a beginning. And right now, with Marcus bleeding on the floor and the council plotting their deaths and the whole realm watching, a beginning was enough. Then let's finish this, Killian said. Once and for all. The war was coming. And this time, Arya wasn't running. Chapter 5. The morning after Marcus's attack, Storm begged to train with the warriors. "Please, Mama," he pleaded, his silver eyes bright with determination. "I need to learn to fight. To protect Sage. To protect you." Arya wanted to say no. Wanted to wrap him in cotton and never let him near danger again. But she'd seen the rogue wolves last night. Had felt Marcus's blade cut into her flesh. The danger was already here. "Fine," she said. "But I'm watching. Every second." The training ground sprawled behind the palace, a massive field where young wolves learned combat under the watchful eyes of veteran warriors. About 20 pups were already there, ranging from 8 to 15 years old. All of them bigger, older, more experienced than Storm. Head warrior Darius, a scarred gray wolf with kind eyes, assessed Storm with obvious skepticism. "He's small for training." "How old?" "5, Killian said. He'd insisted on coming too, watching his son with an intensity that made Arya's chest tight. "5? Darius frowned. "We don't usually start formal training until 7. He'll get hurt." "I won't." Storm protested. "I'm strong. Really strong. Mama's been teaching me." "Your mother's taught you?" Darius looked at Arya with surprise. "Combat training?" "Basic forms," Arya said defensively. "Self-defense." He needed to know how to protect himself in rogue territory. "Show me." Darius gestured to the training circle. "Basic attack stance." Storm dropped into position, feet planted, weight balanced, hands ready. The form was perfect. Better than perfect. He moved with a grace that shouldn't be possible in a 5-year-old. Darius's eyebrows rose. Again. Defense stance. Storm flowed through the movements like water. Block. Dodge. Counter. Each motion precise and controlled. The other young wolves had stopped their own training to watch. Whispers rippled through them. "He's just a baby. Look at his eyes, same as the king's." "Is he really?" "Pair him with Riker," Darius said finally. "Start gentle. Just basics." Riker was 8 years old and small for his age, the perfect sparring partner for a 5-year-old newcomer. The boy stepped into the circle, looking nervous. "Don't hurt him," Riker's mother called from the sidelines. "He's too little." Storm's jaw set. Arya recognized that look. Her stubborn, fierce son who hated being underestimated. "Ready?" Darius asked. Both boys nodded. "Begin." Riker moved first, a simple grab that should have been easy to counter. But Storm didn't just counter, he twisted, using Riker's momentum against him, and sent the older boy sprawling. The training ground went silent. "Again," Darius ordered. They reset. This time Riker was more careful, more defensive. But it didn't matter. Storm was faster, stronger, his instincts razor-sharp. Within minutes, he'd pinned Riker 3 times. "Enough," Darius said. "Riker, take a break." He studied Storm with new eyes. "You're naturally gifted. How long has your mother been training you?" "Since I was 3, Storm said proudly. "Mama says I'm a natural." "She's right." Darius looked at Killian. "With your permission, my king, I'd like to test him against Marcus Jr. He's our best 11-year-old. Arya's stomach dropped. "He's 5. You can't seriously." "I can handle it, Mama," Storm interrupted. His eyes were blazing with determination. With pride. He wanted to prove himself. Killian's face was unreadable. "1 round. If Storm asks to stop, we stop immediately." Marcus Jr., no relation to the beta Marcus, thankfully, stepped into the circle. He was tall for 11, already showing the muscle definition of a young warrior. He looked at Storm like most people looked at puppies. Cute. Harmless. That was his first mistake. "Don't go easy on me," Storm said. "I'm stronger than I look." Marcus Jr. smiled indulgently. "Sure, kid." They began. Marcus Jr. came in hard, trying to end it quickly. But Storm wasn't there when the grab came. He'd already moved, faster than should be possible, and suddenly Marcus Jr. was off balance. Storm pressed his advantage. He was smaller, lighter, but he used it, slipping under Marcus Jr.'s guard, targeting weak points, moving with an instinct that transcended training. The crowd of young wolves pressed closer. Adult warriors stopped their own drills to watch. Marcus Jr. got frustrated. He came in harder, using more strength. Storm took a hit to the shoulder that should have sent him flying. Instead, something happened. Storm's eyes flashed pure gold. Alpha power rippled through the air like lightning. "No," he snarled. And it wasn't a child's voice anymore. It was command. Pure, undeniable alpha command. Marcus Jr. froze mid-attack. His wolf submitted automatically, responding to the authority in that single word. Then Storm's body began to change. "Oh God," Arya breathed. No. No, he's too young. But it was happening. Storm's first shift. His body contorted. Bones cracked and reformed. Fur erupted across his skin, silver, gleaming in the morning sun. He cried out once, in pain or triumph, Arya couldn't tell. And then a wolf stood where her son had been. A massive wolf. Bigger than any 5-year-old should be. His fur was pure silver, marked with darker patterns across his face and shoulders, the same Alpha King markings that decorated Killian's wolf. The training ground erupted in chaos. He shifted. At 5 years old. Look at the markings, those are royal lines. He's the king's son. He has to be. Killian's wolf surged forward before Arya could stop him. The massive black beast moved to Storm's side, silver eyes locked on the small silver wolf. Storm's wolf looked up at Killian. Recognition flashed across his young face. Killian shifted back to human form. He dropped to his knees in front of Storm, his hands gentle on the silver fur. "Mine," he growled. The word echoed across the training ground, layered with alpha power and paternal claim. "My son." Storm's wolf whined. Then, amazingly, he shifted back. The change was smoother this time. Within seconds, Storm stood on shaky legs, naked and covered in sweat but grinning from ear to ear. "Did you see, Mama?" he called out. "I shifted. I'm a real wolf now." Arya couldn't move. Couldn't breathe. Her secret was exposed. Undeniable. Written in silver fur and alpha markings for the entire pack to see. "Well," Darius said into the stunned silence. "That's unprecedented." "He's 5, someone whispered. "No one shifts at 5. Alpha bloodlines shift earlier. But this royal blood has to be." Killian stood, wrapping his shirt around Storm's small body. He lifted his son, into his arms. "Everyone back to training," he commanded. His alpha voice left no room for argument. "Now." The warriors scrambled to obey. But Arya saw their faces. The shock. The speculation. The certainty. They knew. Everyone knew. "We need to talk," Killian said quietly to Arya. "Now." Privately. They retreated to Killian's office, a massive room with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the mountains. Storm had fallen asleep almost immediately, exhausted from his first shift. Killian laid him gently on the couch, covering him with a blanket. He stared at his sleeping son for a long moment. Then he turned to Arya. "How long were you going to keep my children from me?" His voice was deadly calm. That was somehow worse than anger. Forever, Arya said honestly. I was going to keep them hidden forever. Why? The word cracked. Why would you do that to me? To them? Because you rejected me. The words exploded out. You stood in front of hundreds of wolves and told me I was weak. A liability. You severed our bond and walked away like I was nothing. I thought. You thought what? That I'd just accept it? Move on? Arya's hands shook with rage. I was pregnant, Killian. Pregnant with your children. And you told me I wasn't good enough to be your mate. What was I supposed to think would happen if I came to you with them? You should have told me. So you could what? Take them? Claim them as your heirs while throwing me out as a rogue? Arya laughed bitterly. You don't get to choose ambition over our bond and then be angry that I protected our children from you. I chose your life. Killian roared. The windows rattled with his alpha power. The council said they'd execute you. They said an Omega mate would destabilize the kingdom, that I'd be seen as weak, that other packs would challenge me and you'd be caught in the crossfire. They gave me a choice. Reject you publicly and let you live, or accept the bond and watch them kill you for treason against the crown. The words hit Arya like physical blows. What? She whispered. I chose your life. Killian's voice broke. I thought if I rejected you, you'd be hurt but alive. You could leave the pack, start over somewhere safe. I never knew, he looked at Storm. I never knew you were pregnant. Never knew they'd take that from me too. Arya's legs gave out. She sank into a chair. You're lying. The council wouldn't. Wouldn't they? Killian's laugh was hollow. You don't know them. Don't know what they're capable of. They've ruled through fear and manipulation for generations. They choose kings, remove them when they become inconvenient. My father tried to break their power and died mysteriously 6 months later. You think they killed him? I know they did. Killian's hands clenched into fists. But I couldn't prove it. I was 24, newly crowned, surrounded by advisors who all answered to the council. Marcus told me about their ultimatum the night of our mating ceremony. Reject you publicly or they'd have you arrested for attempting to manipulate the Alpha King through forbidden mate bond magic. The sentence for that is death. Arya felt sick. That's not real. That law doesn't exist. It does in the old texts. Buried so deep no one remembers it. But the council does. They use it when they need to eliminate threats. Killian's eyes met hers. You were a threat. An Omega mate who could influence me, make me soft. They needed me focused on consolidating power, not distracted by love? The word tasted bitter. By anything they couldn't control. Killian moved closer. I thought I was saving you. I thought if I rejected the bond, made it clear in public, they'd let you go. You could live. That's all that mattered. And you never thought to tell me? Arya's voice shook. To explain? To ask what I wanted? There wasn't time. Marcus came to me an hour before the ceremony. Said the council had discovered something about your bloodline, that they'd made their decision. I either rejected you then, in front of witnesses, or they'd arrest you the moment we completed the bond. So you destroyed me to save me. Arya couldn't process it. Couldn't reconcile the man who'd coldly rejected her with the one standing here now, anguish written across his face. I destroyed us both. Killian's voice was raw. I felt the bond snap. Felt your pain. It nearly killed me too. But I thought, I prayed, that you'd survive. That you'd heal. That somewhere, you'd be alive and safe even if I never saw you again. Instead I was pregnant and alone and dying from a rejection that nearly shattered my wolf. I know. He dropped to his knees in front of her chair. I know. And I will spend the rest of my life trying to make it right. But Arya, his hands gripped hers. You have to understand. I didn't choose ambition. I didn't choose power. I chose your life. It was the only choice they gave me. Tears burned Arya's eyes. You still should have told me. You're right. I should have. His thumbs brushed her knuckles. I should have told you about the threat. Should have given you the choice. Should have found another way to protect you. But I was young and terrified and I made the wrong call. You destroyed me, she whispered. I know. His voice cracked. And I destroyed myself too. Every day since, I've thought about you. Searched for you. Hoped against hope that you were alive somewhere. I was alive. Raising our children alone. Our children. Killian looked at Storm, still sleeping on the couch. God, Arya. We have children. Beautiful, powerful, perfect children. His eyes shone with unshed tears. Storm is incredible. That shift, 5 years old and he shifted. With alpha markings. He's everything I never knew I wanted. And Sage? Arya asked. She's not flashy like Storm. She's quiet. Sensitive. Empathic. She's perfect too. Killian met her eyes. They both are. And I've missed 5 years of their lives. 5 years of watching them grow. Teaching them. Protecting them. His voice hardened. The council took that from us. From all of us. What do we do now? Arya felt lost. Everything she'd believed for 6 years was wrong. Killian hadn't rejected her out of cruelty or ambition. He'd been trying to save her. And she'd spent 6 years hating him for it. Now we fight. Killian stood, helping her up. The council wanted you dead 6 years ago. When they find out you're alive, that you have children, they'll try to finish what they started, Arya finished. Yes. Marcus mentioned something, Arya said slowly. Before you got there. He said the council discovered my moon priestess bloodline. That they feared my children would inherit prophetic abilities. That were too dangerous to live. Killian's face went pale. Prophetic abilities? My grandmother was a Lara Moonshadow. The last moon priestess. Arya had never told anyone this. Never dared. She could see the future in dreams. Read prophecies in the stars. The council hunted her bloodline, tried to eliminate it. But my grandmother survived. She hid. Changed her name. Married a nobody beta and lived in obscurity. And you inherited her gift? No. At least, I don't think so. I've never had visions or prophetic dreams. Arya hesitated. But Sage sometimes knows things she shouldn't. Says things about the future that come true. And Storm, his instincts are too sharp. Like he can see attacks coming before they happen. They have the gift. Killian's voice was odd. Our children have moon priestess abilities. Which makes them targets. Arya grabbed his arm. Killian, if the council finds out. The door burst open. Marcus stumbled in, his face covered in bruises from last night's fight. 2 guards held him, forcing him to his knees. Thought you might want to hear this, my king, one guard said. He's been talking. A lot. Marcus looked up at Killian with hate in his eyes. It's already done. The council knows about the bitch and her whelps. They're convening an emergency session tomorrow. To discuss what? Killian asked coldly. To order their execution. Marcus smiled through bloody teeth. The children are abominations. Mixed blood of Alpha King and Moon Priestess, they're too powerful. Too dangerous. The council voted 6 years ago to eliminate the bloodline. They'll vote the same now. Over my dead body, Killian growled. That can be arranged. Marcus's smile widened. You're not as untouchable as you think, boy king. The council has already reached out to the northern and western alphas. They're prepared to support a vote of no confidence. You'll be removed from power. Stripped of your title. And those bastards, he looked at Storm. They'll be put down like rabid dogs. Killian's roar shook the room. He shifted mid-lunge, his massive black wolf slamming into Marcus. Jaws closed around the beta's throat. Don't. Arya shouted. If you kill him, they'll use it against you. Say you're unstable. Unfit. Killian's wolf snarled but didn't bite down. Slowly, he shifted back. Get him out of my sight. Put him in the dungeons. No visitors. No contact with anyone. The guards dragged Marcus away. His laughter echoed down the hallway. You can't stop this. The council has already won. Silence fell. Storm stirred on the couch, his eyes opening. Mama? What's happening? Arya went to him, pulling him close. Nothing, baby. Everything's fine. But it wasn't fine. Nothing was fine. The council was coming for them. And this time, Killian couldn't save them by rejecting her. This time, the only way to protect them was to fight. I need to call an Alpha Council meeting, Killian said. Every pack in the realm. We expose what the council has done. The manipulation. The lies. The threats. They'll never believe you, Arya said. You're the Alpha King. They'll think you're making excuses for keeping a forbidden mate. Then we make them believe. Killian's eyes were fierce. The Moon Priestess bloodline isn't forbidden, it's sacred. Your grandmother was hunted because the council feared her power. Feared losing control. But the old laws protect Moon Priestesses. Honor them as blessed by the moon herself. Those laws haven't been invoked in 50 years. Then it's time to remember them. Killian pulled out his phone. I'm calling every Alpha I trust. We're bringing this before the full council, not their shadow government, but every pack representative. Public. Transparent. They can't murder you in the darkness if the whole realm is watching. And if they still vote to execute us? Killian's smile was dangerous. Then we go to war. Storm sat up straighter. I'll fight. I'm strong now. I shifted. I can help protect us. No. Arya's voice was firm. You're 5 years old. You're not fighting anyone. But Mama. No. She cupped his face. This isn't your battle. Not yet. She's right, Killian said. Your job is to take care of Sage. Keep her safe. Let the adults handle this. Storm's jaw set stubbornly, so much like his father, but he nodded. Killian made calls for the next hour. Alpha after Alpha. Some were supportive. Some skeptical. A few openly hostile. But word was spreading. The Alpha King had found his supposedly dead mate and secret children. The council wanted them eliminated. And the realm was taking sides. 37 Alphas have agreed to come, Killian said finally. That's enough for a quorum. We can force a vote. And if the vote goes against us? Then we run. He looked at Arya. At Storm. I'll take you somewhere they'll never find you. Give up my crown if I have to. But I won't let them touch my family. Family. He'd called them family. Arya's chest tightened. 6 years ago, she'd have given anything to hear him say that. Now, it felt like too little, too late. But looking at Storm. At their son who'd shifted at 5 years old, who carried both their bloodlines, who was powerful and perfect and in danger, she knew they didn't have the luxury of dwelling on the past. What do we do until the council meets? She asked. We prepare. Killian's alpha power filled the room. We train. We gather allies. And we make sure that when they come for us, we're ready. They'll come, Marcus had said. Arya believed him. The council had tried to separate them once before. Had manipulated Killian into rejection. Had threatened her life. Now they'd try to finish what they started. But this time was different. This time, she wasn't alone. This time, she had Killian, complicated, flawed, but fighting for them with everything he had. And this time, she was done running. Then let's show them what happens when you threaten a moon priestess and her children, Arya said quietly. Killian's smile was fierce. Let's give them a war they'll never forget. Storm stood up, his small hand finding Killian's larger one. Together, he said. We fight together. Together, Killian agreed. And Arya knew, looking at her son standing beside his father, that everything had changed. The war was coming. But they'd face it as a family. Chapter 6. The council chamber was designed to intimidate. Arya had never been inside before. 6 years ago, she hadn't been important enough. But now, walking through the massive oak doors with Killian at her side and the twins trailing behind, she understood its purpose. The room was circular, with stone walls that seemed to absorb sound. 13 high-backed chairs formed a crescent around a central floor space, the judgment circle, where accused wolves stood to face their accusers. Above, a domed ceiling was painted with scenes from wolf history, great battles, legendary alphas, the founding of the council itself. All of it designed to make you feel small. Powerless. The 13 council members were already seated, their faces grave. Arya recognized a few: Alpha Warren of the Eastern Pack, Luna Vera of the Southern Territories. But most were strangers. Old wolves with calculating eyes and expensive clothes. At the center sat Elder Thorn. He was ancient, probably over 80, but power radiated from him like heat from a forge. His hair was white, his face lined, but his eyes were sharp as knives. He wore the traditional council robes, deep purple trimmed with silver, marking him as First Elder. Alpha King Killian, Thorn's voice was surprisingly strong. You've called this emergency session. Speak. Killian stepped forward, his alpha presence filling the room. I've called you here to address a conspiracy. 6 years ago, this council threatened my mate's life and forced me to reject her through manipulation and lies. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. That's a serious accusation, Thorn said mildly. Do you have proof? I have Marcus's confession. Killian gestured to the guards. They dragged Marcus into the chamber, his hands bound with silver chains. Tell them. Tell them what you told me. Marcus looked at the council. Something passed between him and Thorn, a look Arya couldn't quite read. I told the Alpha King that his mate was a threat, Marcus said carefully. That her bloodline was dangerous. The council agreed. We acted in the realm's best interest. You acted to preserve your own power, Killian snarled. You discovered Arya carried Moon Priestess blood and feared what that meant. So you manipulated me into rejecting her. Moon Priestess? Alpha Warren leaned forward. The Moonshadow line was eliminated decades ago. Everyone knows that. Not eliminated, Arya spoke up. Her voice echoed in the vast chamber. Hidden. My grandmother was Alara Moonshadow. She survived by changing her name, living in obscurity. But her bloodline didn't die. It passed to me. The council erupted. Impossible. The Moonshadow line is extinct. This is a trick. Silence. Thorn's command cut through the chaos. His eyes fixed on Arya with unnerving intensity. If you truly carry Moon Priestess blood, you understand why the council had concerns. Your kind nearly destroyed the realm once before. My kind? Arya's hands clenched. Moon Priestesses were healers. Seers. They served the packs. They controlled the packs, Thorn corrected. Through prophecy and manipulation. The last Moon Priestess Council drove 3 alphas to madness with visions of futures that never came to pass. They wielded power no wolf should possess, the ability to shape destiny itself. That's not, Arya started. And now you've bred that power into royal bloodlines. Thorn's gaze shifted to the twins. Storm stood protectively in front of Sage, his small body rigid with tension. These children. They shifted early. Possess unusual abilities. The boy has alpha command at 5 years old. The girl reads emotions like an open book. Tell me, Arya Winters, what other gifts do they possess? They're children, Arya said fiercely. Not weapons. Not threats. Just children. Children who could tear the realm apart. Thorn rose from his seat. He moved with surprising grace for his age, descending the steps to the judgment circle. I've lived a long time. I've seen what happens when power consolidates too much. When one bloodline becomes too strong. It breeds tyrants. Monsters. Or it breeds strong leaders, Killian countered. The council fears what it can't control. That's what this is really about. We fear chaos. Thorn stopped in front of Storm and Sage. The twins stared up at him, their silver eyes unblinking. These children are an unknown variable. Their gifts are unprecedented. And precedent, Alpha King, is what keeps civilization intact. What are you proposing? Killian's voice was dangerously quiet. Containment. Thorn turned to face the council. I move that these children be placed in the royal vault until they come of age. There, they can be studied. Trained. Taught to control their abilities under proper supervision. The royal vault is a prison, Arya said. Her wolf was rising inside her, sensing danger. You want to lock up my children. We want to protect the realm from potentially catastrophic power. Thorn's tone was reasonable. Patient. That made it worse. Surely you understand. The boy shifted at 5. His alpha command is strong enough to force submission from wolves twice his age. What happens when he's 10? 15? 20? What happens when he can command entire packs with a single word? He'll be taught control, Killian said. I'll train him myself. You? Thorn's smile was thin. You, who rejected your mate because we asked. You, who's ruled for 6 years under council guidance. Forgive me, Alpha King, but your record doesn't inspire confidence in your ability to resist influence. The insult hung in the air. Killian's alpha power exploded outward. Several council members flinched. Choose your next words carefully, Elder. Or what? Thorn didn't retreat. You'll attack me? Prove my point about unstable power? He gestured to the other council members. We've discussed this situation extensively. The consensus is clear. These children represent a danger. They're his heirs, Alpha Warren interrupted. The Alpha King has acknowledged them. They have royal blood. You can't just imprison royal children. Can't we? Thorn turned to face Warren. Or do you forget the law of blood right challenge? Any council member may challenge the Alpha King's fitness to rule. And if his judgment is compromised, say, by mate bonds to a woman who carries dangerous bloodlines, then perhaps new leadership is required. The chamber went silent. You're threatening to remove me, Killian said flatly. I'm suggesting that your personal feelings may be clouding your judgment. Thorn's smile was poisonous. After all, you've only just discovered these children exist. You've known this woman for, 2 weeks? And yet you're willing to risk the realm's stability for them. They're my family. They're a liability. Thorn returned to his seat. I call for a vote. All in favor of containing the children in the royal vault until proper assessment can be completed? 7 hands rose. Arya's heart stopped. 7 votes. That was a majority. All opposed? 6 hands rose, including Alpha Warren and Luna Vera. The motion carries, Thorne said. Guards, take the children. No. The word came from Storm. Small. Quiet. But layered with alpha command that made every wolf in the chamber freeze. Storm stepped forward, his silver eyes blazing gold. You won't take us. The child thinks he can command the council? Thorne actually laughed. How precious. I said no. Storm's power grew. Arya felt it washing over her, pure alpha dominance from a 5-year-old body. You won't touch me. You won't touch Sage. You won't touch Mama. Several council members were struggling against the compulsion. Arya saw the shock on their faces. Storm was forcing submission from adult wolves. From trained alphas. From council members. Stop it, Arya said urgently. Storm, baby, stop. You're making it worse. They want to lock us up. Storm's voice cracked. They want to take us away from you. I know, baby. I know. But this isn't the way. Storm's power flickered. Died. He stumbled, and Killian caught him. You see? Thorne's voice was triumphant. The boy can't even control his own abilities. He's dangerous. He's 5 years old and terrified, Luna Vera said sharply. What did you expect? I expected exactly this. Thorne stood again. Which is why I'm invoking the law of blood right challenge. Someone must challenge the Alpha King's fitness to rule, and more specifically, his choice of mate. You can't challenge a rejected bond, Alpha Warren said. The mate bond was severed 6 years ago. There's no legal. The bond never fully broke, Killian interrupted. He looked at Arya. Did it? She wanted to lie. But too many wolves could sense it. No. It didn't. Then the mate bond exists in a damaged state, Thorne said. Which means traditional challenge laws apply. Any suitable female may challenge Arya Winters for the right to be the Alpha King's mate. If she loses, she's exiled and the children become wards of the crown, orphaned royal blood to be raised by the council. That's barbaric, Luna Vera protested. That's the law. Thorne's smile widened. And I have the perfect challenger. The chamber doors opened. Lady Cassandra Thornwood entered, dressed for combat. Leather armor. Hair pulled back. Eyes cold and determined. She looked at Arya with undisguised hatred. I, Cassandra Thornwood, issue formal challenge for the position of Alpha King's mate, she declared. Dominance fight. Traditional rules. To submission or death. The council chamber erupted again. But this time, the voices were excited. Bloodthirsty. Cassandra is Thorne's niece, Killian said quietly to Arya. This was planned. She was planted here years ago to get close to me. Can I refuse the challenge? Arya asked. No. Once issued, refusal means automatic exile. Killian's hands clenched. But you don't have to do this. We can leave. Right now. Take the twins and run forever? Arya looked at her children. Storm was crying silently. Sage's eyes were wide with fear. No. I'm done running. Arya, she's a trained warrior. She's fought in territorial wars. You're an Omega? Arya smiled bitterly. I know. Everyone knows. That's what they're counting on. She stepped into the judgment circle. The stone floor was cold under her bare feet. Around her, the council members leaned forward, hungry for blood. Cassandra stalked into the circle like a predator. I'm going to enjoy this, she said quietly. Killian should have been mine. Would have been mine if you'd stayed dead. Then you should have made sure I was actually dead, Arya replied. Cassandra's smile was vicious. I'll correct that mistake now. Combat will begin on my mark, Thorn announced. Traditional rules apply. Fight continues until one submits or dies. Alpha King, you may not interfere. Any interference means automatic forfeiture. Killian's face was anguished. But he nodded. He couldn't help her. Couldn't protect her. She was alone. Begin. Cassandra lunged immediately. Fast. Brutal. Her fist aimed for Arya's throat. Arya barely dodged. The punch grazed her shoulder, would have crushed her windpipe if it had landed. She stumbled back, already off balance. Cassandra pressed her advantage. Kick to the ribs. Arya blocked, but the impact sent her flying. She hit the stone floor hard, tasting blood. 5 seconds, someone in the council said. She lasted 5 seconds. Pathetic, another voice agreed. Arya climbed to her feet. Her ribs screamed. Cassandra was already moving in for another attack. I can't win this, Arya thought. She's too strong. Too fast. Too trained. Mama. Sage's voice cut through the chaos. Remember. Remember who you are. Who I am. I'm a mother. A survivor. A moon priestess. Cassandra's fist came at her face. This time, Arya saw it differently. Saw the telegraphed movement. The weight shift. The vulnerability in Cassandra's stance. She moved without thinking. Twisted. Cassandra's punch hit empty air. Lucky dodge, Cassandra snarled. She attacked again. Combinations now. Punch, kick, grab. Professional. Deadly. But Arya could see it all. Not with her eyes. With something deeper. Older. She moved like water, flowing around Cassandra's attacks. Her body knew where to be, how to shift. Knowledge rose inside her, combat techniques from ancestors long dead. Moon priestess warriors who'd protected their packs through supernatural grace and ancient wisdom. What? Cassandra stumbled, off balance. How are you? Arya's eyes began to glow. Silver white, like moonlight. Her vision sharpened. She could see the room in perfect detail, every face, every breath, every heartbeat. She could see Cassandra's next move before it happened. The warrior came in hard. Arya met her halfway. Her hand caught Cassandra's wrist, twisted. The warrior cried out, trying to pull away. But Arya wasn't done. She moved with fluid grace, using Cassandra's own momentum against her. Within seconds, the warrior was on the ground, Arya's hand at her throat. Submit, Arya said. Her voice echoed with power. Not alpha command, but something else. Something older. Never, Cassandra spat. Then sleep. Arya pressed specific points on Cassandra's neck. Pressure points her grandmother had known. Had passed down through blood memory. Cassandra's eyes rolled back. She went limp. Arya stood, her eyes still glowing silver white. She looked at the council. At Thorn. At the wolves who'd wanted to watch her die. Anyone else? She asked quietly. Silence. Then Storm's voice, Mama, your eyes. Arya turned. Saw her children standing together. And their eyes, both of them, were glowing too. Silver white. Exactly like hers. The prophecy wolves had emerged. This is impossible, someone whispered. Moon priestess power. All 3 of them. Thorn's face had gone white. Guards. Contain them. Now. But no one moved. The guards stood frozen, staring at Arya and her children with something like awe. Or terror. You wanted proof of what we are? Arya's voice rang through the chamber. Here it is. Moon priestess bloodline. Awakened. Active. And absolutely done being threatened. She moved to her children. Storm and Sage grabbed her hands. Their combined power filled the room, silver light that made shadows dance and wolves flinch. You were right to fear us, Arya said to Thorn. Because we're exactly what you think we are. Powerful. Dangerous. Capable of things you can't imagine. Then you admit you're a threat. Thorn shouted. No. Killian stepped forward. His alpha power merged with theirs, black and silver swirling together. We're a family. And if you try to separate us, if you try to harm them, you'll learn exactly how dangerous we can be. This is treason. This is revolution. Alpha Warren stood. Elder Thorn, you've overplayed your hand. You manufactured this challenge hoping to eliminate a threat. Instead, you've proven exactly why the Council's fear-based governance is outdated. You dare. I dare. Warren looked at the other Council members. Who else is tired of letting Thorn manipulate us? Tired of ruling through fear instead of wisdom? Luna Vera stood. Then 2 more Council members. Then another. 6 votes. Half the Council. This isn't over, Thorn snarled. You've revealed yourselves. Every pack in the realm will know what you are. They'll come for you. Hunt you. Because prophecy wolves are too dangerous to exist. Let them come, Storm said. His small voice was fierce. We'll be ready. Sage nodded. Together. We're stronger together. Arya pulled her children close. Her eyes met Killian's across the chamber. He moved to them, his arms wrapping around all 3 of them. You're right, Killian said to Thorn. This isn't over. But you've made a critical mistake. You've united us. Given us common cause. And now every wolf who's tired of council manipulation, every pack that suffered under your governance, every alpha who wants real change. They'll know there's an alternative. You'll tear the realm apart. Thorn's face was purple with rage. No. Killian's voice was calm. Certain. We'll rebuild it. Better. Stronger. Without fear. Guards were finally moving, but not to arrest them. They surrounded Thorn instead. Elder Thorn, Alpha Warren said formally. You're removed from council leadership effective immediately. Your manipulation of Alpha King Killian's mate Bond, your attempted imprisonment of royal children, your manufactured challenge, all of it constitutes abuse of council authority. You can't. We can. And we are. Warren looked at the other council members who'd stood with him. All in favor of removing Elder Thorn? 7 hands rose this time. Motion carries. Warren turned to Killian. Alpha King, I apologize. The council has failed you. Failed your family. We'll do better. See that you do, Killian said. Thorn was dragged away, still shouting about prophecy wolves and threats and doom. But his voice faded. His power, built on fear and manipulation, crumbled. The chamber slowly emptied. Council members filed out, whispering urgently. Plans were already being made. Alliances shifting. Soon, only Arya's family remained. Storm's eyes had stopped glowing. He looked exhausted. Mama? What happened to us? Your gifts awakened, Arya said softly. The Moon Priestess bloodline, it's been dormant, waiting. But today, when you needed it, it answered. Will it happen again? Sage asked quietly. Probably. When you're in danger. When you need to protect someone you love. Arya touched her daughter's cheek. Your grandmother had these gifts. She could see possible futures. Sense danger. Move with supernatural grace. What can we do? Storm asked. I don't know yet, Arya admitted. We'll figure it out together. Together, Killian agreed. He looked at Arya. You were incredible. That fight, I've never seen anything like it. I didn't know I could do that, Arya confessed. It just happened. Like muscle memory from lives I never lived. Ancestral knowledge, a voice said. They turned. Luna Vera had returned, her face kind. Moon priestesses could access their ancestors' memories. Combat skills, prophecies, wisdom, all of it stored in blood and bone. You tapped into that today. How do you know? Arya asked. Because my great-grandmother was a moon priestess's student. Vera smiled. Not all the knowledge was lost. Some of us remember. And some of us have been waiting for the bloodline to resurface. Why? Killian asked. Because the realm needs it. Vera's voice was serious. The council has ruled through fear for too long. We need seers again. Healers. Wisdom keepers. Everything the moon priestesses once were. The council will never accept that, Arya said. Thorn isn't the only one who fears us. No, Vera agreed. But fear can be overcome. Given time. Given proof that prophecy wolves aren't the monsters legends made them out to be. She looked at Storm and Sage. These children could change everything. If they're trained properly. Protected. Allowed to grow into their gifts. We'll protect them, Killian said fiercely. I know. Vera smiled. That's why I voted to remove Thorn. Because I believe in what you're building here. A new future. One without manipulation and fear. She left, leaving them alone again. Can we go home now? Storm asked tiredly. I want to sleep. Home. He'd called the palace home. Arya's chest tightened. Her son was already putting down roots here. Finding belonging. Yes, Killian said. Let's go home. They walked through the palace halls together. Servants and pack members watched them pass with new eyes. Some with fear. Some with curiosity. But none with the dismissive disdain from before. Everything had changed. But as they reached their rooms, Arya couldn't shake the feeling that the real battle was still coming. Thorn had been removed. But his supporters remained. And across the realm, other councils would hear about prophecy wolves emerging. They'd made themselves targets today. And targets, Arya knew, attracted hunters. She held her children close as they fell asleep, their small bodies finally relaxed after the day's terror. Killian stood at the window, his back rigid with tension. What are you thinking? Arya asked quietly. That we won a battle today, he said. But the war is just beginning. I know. He turned to face her. I'm sorry. For all of it. For believing Marcus. For rejecting you. For 6 years of pain I can never fix. I know that too. Can you forgive me? His voice was raw. Eventually. Arya looked at her children. At the man who destroyed her and was now trying to protect her. At the broken bond between them that still pulled, still ached. Ask me again, she said quietly. When this is over. When we've survived whatever's coming. Ask me then. It wasn't yes. But it wasn't no either. And for now, that would have to be enough. Chapter 7. Sage's screams woke the entire wing. Arya was at her daughter's bedside in seconds, Storm right behind her. Sage thrashed against the sheets, her silver eyes wide and unfocused, glowing with that eerie moon priestess light. Sage. Baby, wake up. Arya grabbed her daughter's shoulders. But Sage wasn't seeing her. She was seeing something else. Somewhere else. Fire, Sage whispered. So much fire. And wolves. Dead wolves everywhere. The darkness is coming. It's already here. It's always been here, waiting. What darkness? Arya pulled Sage against her chest. What are you seeing? War. Sage's voice was distant. Haunted. A war bigger than anything before. Pack against pack. Brother against brother. And in the center. Her eyes found Storm. You're leading them. Uniting them. But only if. She gasped. Convulsed. Only if what? Storm demanded. He'd climbed onto the bed, taking his sister's hand. Sage, only if what? Only if we stay together. Sage's eyes cleared slightly. Focused on her mother. We have to stay together, Mama. You, me, Storm, Anne. She looked toward the door where Killian had just appeared, drawn by the commotion. Him. Our pack. If we're separated, the darkness wins. Everyone dies. Killian crossed to the bed in 2 strides. What did you see, little one? Everything. Tears streamed down Sage's face. I saw everything. All the possible futures. Most of them end in death. In darkness. But there's one, just one, where we win. Where Storm leads the packs against the darkness. Where I guide them with sight. Where you and Mama stand together. The darkness, Arya said carefully. What is it? Rogues. But not normal rogues. Sage's small hands clutched at her mother. They have dark magic. Blood magic. They're being led by someone who hates wolves. Who wants to destroy the pack system entirely. Replace it with chaos. Dark magic doesn't exist, Killian said. But his voice was uncertain. It does. Luna Vera appeared in the doorway, her face grave. She must have been patrolling the halls. Old magic. Forbidden magic. The kind that requires blood sacrifice and death. If someone's wielding it, we're in serious trouble. How do you know this? Killian asked. Because my great-grandmother fought against it once before. 60 years ago, a rogue faction tried to use blood magic to overthrow the pack system. Moon priestesses led the fight against them. It cost them everything, that's why the bloodline nearly went extinct. They burned themselves out stopping the darkness. Arya's stomach dropped. And now it's back. History repeating itself. Vera moved to Sage, her hand gentle on the child's head. What else did you see, little prophet? I saw Storm grown up. Strong. Powerful. Every pack following him. Sage's voice was dreamy again. He speaks and they listen. He commands and they obey. Not because they fear him but because they love him. Because he's good. Fair. Just. Storm's face was pale. I don't want that. I'm just a kid. You're more than that. Sage looked at her brother with ancient eyes. You're going to save us all. But only if. If we stay together, Storm finished. I heard you the first time. It's more than that. Sage turned to Killian. The council will try to separate us. They'll say Mama and Storm and me are too dangerous. That we need to be contained separately. If they succeed, if they pull our pack apart, the darkness will pour through the cracks. Everything will fall. Then we don't let them separate us. Killian's voice was absolute. Simple as that. It won't be simple, Vera warned. Thorn may be removed from leadership, but he still has supporters. And once word spreads about Sage's prophecy abilities, about the darkness coming, fear will spread. Wolves will demand action. Protection. Many will see containing your family as the safest option. Let them try, Killian said coldly. Arya recognized that tone. The Alpha King wasn't negotiating. He was declaring war. We need to move fast, Vera said. Before Thorn can rally his supporters. Make a formal declaration. Claim your family publicly. Dare anyone to challenge it. I'll call a pack assembly, Killian decided. Tomorrow morning. Every wolf in the royal pack will witness my declaration. And those who oppose it? Arya asked quietly. They're free to leave. Killian's eyes were hard. I won't rule through fear or force. But I also won't allow my family to be threatened. Anyone who can't accept them isn't pack. The next morning, the entire royal pack gathered in the ceremonial grounds. Thousands of wolves, all drawn by the Alpha King's summons. They packed the massive space, spilling onto balconies and rooftops. Everyone wanted to witness this. Arya stood beside Killian on the raised platform, painfully aware of every eye on her. Storm held her left hand. Sage clutched her right. They were dressed simply, no royal finery, no pretense. Just a mother and her children. And the Alpha King who claimed them. Thank you for coming, Killian's voice carried across the grounds, enhanced by the natural acoustics. I've called you here to make a declaration. One that will change everything. Silence. Absolute attention. 6 years ago, I rejected my fated mate. Killian's voice was steady. I was told it was necessary. That she was a threat to the realm. That accepting the mate bond would weaken my position. I believed those lies. And in believing them, I committed the greatest mistake of my life. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. That mate was Arya Winters. An Omega from the Crimson Peak pack. The council discovered she carried Moon Priestess blood, the sacred Moonshadow bloodline we'd been told was extinct. They feared her. Feared what children born of our union might become. So they threatened her life unless I rejected her publicly. The murmurs grew louder. Angry. Confused. I thought I was saving her, Killian continued. Instead, I drove her away. She fled, believing I'd rejected her out of cruelty or ambition. What I didn't know, what no one knew, was that she was pregnant. With my children. Twins. He gestured to Storm and Sage. These children are mine. My blood. My heirs. They carry both Alpha King bloodline and Moon Priestess gifts. They are powerful. Yes. Unusual. Yes. Dangerous? He paused. Let the question hang. Only to those who would threaten this pack. Only to those who would see us weakened, divided, controlled by fear. Killian's Alpha command rolled across the grounds. I, Killian Blackwood, Alpha King of the Royal Pack, formally claim Arya Winters as my mate. I claim Storm and Sage as my heirs. They are pack. They are family. They are under my absolute protection. The crowd erupted. Some in cheers. Others in angry protests. Anyone who supports this declaration, remain standing, Killian commanded. Anyone who opposes it, anyone who cannot accept my mate and children as pack. You have until sunset to leave these territories. You'll be given safe passage and severance pay. But you will no longer be royal pack. The ultimatum was clear. Absolute. Arya watched the crowd. Watched wolves make their choice. Most remained standing. Solid. Supportive. But about 200 wolves sat down. Their message clear, they refused to accept this. Among them, Arya spotted familiar faces. Cassandra, still bruised from their fight. Several council supporters. Anne. Her breath caught. Marcus. The beta was seated, his face tortured. He met her eyes across the distance, and she saw conflict there. Pain. Indecision. Those seated may leave when this assembly concludes, Killian said. His voice was gentler now. Sad. You've served this pack well. I bear you no ill will. But I will not compromise on this. My family stands with me, or they don't stand at all. The assembly ended. Wolves dispersed, talking urgently among themselves. The 200 who'd sat began gathering belongings, preparing to leave. Arya watched Marcus disappear into the crowd, her heart heavy. He'd chosen the council over Killian. After years of loyalty, years of friendship, he'd chosen wrong. Or had he? That night, Arya couldn't sleep. Too much had happened. Too much was still coming. She wandered to the library, seeking comfort in books. She found Marcus there instead. He stood at the window, his back to her, shoulders hunched. He wasn't packing. Wasn't preparing to leave. Shouldn't you be gone by now? Arya asked quietly. Marcus turned. His face was haggard. I made a mistake. In that assembly. I sat down because I was afraid. Afraid of what you and those children represent. Afraid of change. And now? Now I realize something. He moved closer. I've spent my entire adult life serving the council. Following their orders. Believing their lies. And what has it gotten me? I destroyed my best friend's happiness. Drove you away. Helped create this mess. So what are you going to do about it? Arya asked. I'm going to. The window exploded inward. Glass shattered. Dark shapes poured through, wolves with red eyes and matted fur. Rogues. But something was wrong with them. Their scent was corrupted. Twisted. Blood magic. Run. Marcus shoved Arya toward the door. Get to the twins. Protect them. What about? I'll hold them off. Marcus shifted mid-sentence, his gray wolf launching at the attackers. Arya ran. Behind her, she heard snarls. Screams. The sound of violence. She burst into the children's room. Storm. Sage. Wake up. But the room was already under attack. 3 more corrupted wolves had come through the balcony. They advanced on the beds where her children huddled together. Arya shifted, her brown wolf placing herself between the attackers and her babies. One rogue lunged. Arya met it tooth and claw. They crashed together, rolling across the floor. The rogue was strong. Enhanced by whatever dark magic corrupted it. Its eyes were empty. Mindless. A weapon, not a wolf. She tore its throat out. It died without sound. 2 more remained. They split up, one going for Storm, one for Sage. No. Arya leaped for the one targeting Sage. Her jaws closed on its leg. It howled, wheeling on her. But that left Storm exposed. The second rogue pounced. Storm's eyes flashed gold. Stop. The rogue froze mid-leap. Storm's alpha command held it paralyzed. Storm, run. Arya was still fighting the first rogue. Get your sister, Anne. More rogues poured through the door. 6. 8. 10. Too many. Then Killian was there. Massive and black and furious. He tore through the rogues like they were paper. His alpha power filled the room, making the corrupted wolves hesitate. But only for a moment. They attacked together. Coordinated. Clearly being controlled by someone. The fight was brutal. Arya lost track of time, of numbers. She just fought. Tooth and claw and desperate strength. Marcus burst through the door, still in wolf form. His gray fur was matted with blood, his own and others. He looked half dead already. But he kept fighting. Protecting Killian's back. Driving rogues away from the twins. One rogue broke through, heading straight for Sage. Marcus intercepted. The corrupted wolf's jaws closed on his throat. No. Arya shifted to human form. Ran to Marcus as he fell. Killian finished the last rogue. The room fell silent except for ragged breathing. Marcus shifted back. The wound in his throat was fatal. Arya could see that immediately. Marcus. She cradled his head. Hold on. We'll get a healer. No time. Blood bubbled from his lips. This was Thorn's doing. He's not done. He's working with the rogues. With the darkness. Save your strength, Killian said. He'd shifted too, kneeling beside his beta. His brother in all but blood. Tell him, Marcus gasped. Tell the king I'm sorry. I should have fought harder for his happiness. For yours. I should have. I'm here, Killian said roughly. I'm right here, Marcus. And you did fight. You chose right in the end. 6 years too late. Marcus's eyes found areas. Protect them. The twins. They're more important than you know. The prophecy, it's real. All of it. I've seen the darkness. It's coming. How do we stop it? Arya asked urgently. Stay together. Marcus's voice was fading. The four of you. True pack. That's the key. Don't let them, he coughed. Don't let them separate you. His eyes went distant. Still. Gone. Killian let out a sound like a wounded animal. His hands fisted in Marcus's shirt. You idiot. You damn fool. You should have run. Should have saved yourself. He chose to save us instead, Storm said quietly. The little boy approached, laying his hand on Marcus's still chest. He was brave. At the end, he was really brave. Sage joined her brother. He's not in pain anymore. I can't feel his emotions. That means he's at peace. Peace, Killian repeated bitterly. He deserves more than peace. He deserves to be remembered, Arya finished. She closed Marcus's eyes gently. To be honored for choosing right when it mattered most. Guards flooded the room. Healers. Pack members drawn by the violence. Secure the palace, Killian ordered. His voice was thick but steady. Find every rogue. Make sure they're all dead. And someone find Elder Thorn. I want him in custody. Now. But hours later, word came back, Thorn was gone. Fled in the chaos. And with him, about 50 of his most loyal supporters. He's joining the darkness, Luna Vera said grimly. She'd come to pay respects to Marcus. A former council elder working with blood magic rogues. This is bad. Really bad. How many rogues are out there? Killian asked. Unknown. But if Thorn's giving them direction, organizing them? Vera shook her head. Could be hundreds. Maybe thousands. Then we prepare for war. Killian stood. He looked at his family, at Arya and the twins, exhausted and scared but alive. We unite the packs. Call every alpha we can trust. Tell them what's coming. Will they believe us? Arya asked. They'll believe Sage's prophecy. Especially when I tell them she predicted this attack. Killian's eyes were hard. Moon Priestess visions are sacred. Undeniable. If she says darkness is coming, they'll have to take it seriously. Some won't, Vera warned. Some will see this as an opportunity. A chance to grab power while everyone's distracted. Then they'll face me. Killian's alpha command was absolute. Anyone who tries to take advantage of this situation will learn why I'm Alpha King. Over the next 3 days, messages went out to every pack in the realm. Killian called for an emergency Alpha Summit. Asked, demanded, that every leader attend. Responses came back mixed. Some agreed immediately. Others were skeptical. A few refused outright. But enough said yes. Enough were willing to listen. The summit was scheduled for 1 week away. 7 days to prepare. To plan. To grieve Marcus and honor his sacrifice. 7 days to figure out how to save the realm from darkness. Arya spent those days training with her children. Teaching them control. Helping Storm manage his alpha command. Working with Sage to understand her visions without being overwhelmed by them. And slowly, painfully, reconnecting with Killian. They didn't talk about the mate bond. Didn't discuss forgiveness or second chances. There wasn't time for that. But they worked together. Planned together. Protected their children together. And the broken bond between them began to heal. Just a little. Just enough. On the 6th night, Killian found Arya on the balcony. She was watching the stars, thinking about everything that had happened. "Can't sleep?" he asked. "Too much on my mind." He stood beside her. Close but not touching. "Marcus told me something once. Years ago, right before he stopped. Right before he convinced me to reject you." "What did he say?" "He said the hardest choices are the ones where both options lead to pain. That leadership means choosing which pain you can live with." Killian's voice was rough. "I chose wrong. I chose the pain of losing you over the pain of watching them kill you. And it destroyed us both." "You couldn't have known I'd survive," Arya said quietly. "Or that I was pregnant. I should have trusted you enough to tell you the truth. Give you the choice." He finally looked at her. "I'm sorry. I know I've said it before. But I'll keep saying it. Every day. For the rest of our lives if I have to." "The rest of our lives?" Arya's breath caught. The bond never broke. Killian's hand lifted, hovering near her face but not quite touching. "It's still there. Damaged. Painful. But there. I can feel it every moment." "Can't you?" She could. God, she could. It ached constantly, a reminder of what they'd lost and what they might still save. "Yes," she whispered. "Then let me try." His hand finally touched her cheek. Gentle. Asking permission. "Let me try to fix this. Fix us. I know it won't be easy. I know there are years of pain to work through. But Arya," his voice cracked. "I never stopped loving you. Never. Even when I thought you were dead. Even when I tried to move on. My wolf knew. Always knew." Tears burned her eyes. "I don't know if I can trust you again. I know. I don't deserve your trust." His thumb brushed away a tear. "But I'll earn it back. However long it takes. Whatever I have to do. Storm and Sage will always come first," Killian finished. "I know. They should. They're the future. Everything we do is for them." Arya looked up at him. At the man who destroyed her and was now trying, really trying, to rebuild what they'd lost. She wasn't ready to forgive. Wasn't ready to forget. But maybe she was ready to try. "One day at a time," she said finally. "That's all I can promise. One day at a time. That's enough." Killian's smile was sad but genuine. "That's more than enough." He kissed her forehead. Gentle. Chaste. A promise, not a claim. And the bond between them flared, painful but alive. Growing stronger. Healing. Inside, Storm and Sage slept peacefully. Protected. Safe. Tomorrow would bring the summit. Would bring danger and politics and difficult choices. But tonight, they were together. Their pack. Their family. And that, Arya realized, was everything. The darkness was coming. War was inevitable. But they'd face it together. And together, maybe they had a chance. Chapter 8. The blood moon rose like a wound in the sky. Arya stood on the palace balcony, watching the moon turn crimson. Ancient wolves believed the blood moon brought change, either transformation or destruction. Tonight, she feared it would be both. "Mama, I don't like it." Sage pressed against her side. "The moon feels wrong." Angry. "I know, baby." Arya pulled her daughter close. Storm stood on her other side, his small face set with determination. He'd been training non-stop for the past week, preparing for whatever was coming. Because something was definitely coming. Sage's visions had been getting worse. More frequent. More violent. She saw shadow wolves, creatures made of darkness and death magic. She saw fire consuming the palace. She saw wolves dying. But she also saw hope. A light that pushed back the darkness. A family standing together. "They're coming tonight," Sage whispered. "I can feel it. The darkness is ready." "Then so are we." Killian emerged from the palace, already dressed for battle. Leather armor. Weapons strapped to his back. His alpha power rolled off him in waves. The warriors are positioned. Every entrance covered. "We're as prepared as we can be." "Prepared for what?" Storm asked. "Shadow wolves? Dead things that shouldn't be alive? How do you prepare for that?" "By standing together." Killian crouched down, meeting his son's eyes. "By trusting our pack. And by remembering that we're stronger than whatever Thorn can throw at us." "I'm scared," Storm admitted. His voice was small. "Young. I keep trying to be brave but..." "Being brave doesn't mean not being scared," Killian said gently. "It means being scared and standing anyway. You're already the bravest wolf I know." "Really? Really?" Killian pulled Storm into a hug. Then Sage. Then, more hesitantly, he reached for Arya. She went to him. Let herself be pulled into the embrace. Let herself feel, just for a moment, like they were a real family. United. Whole. The broken bond between them thrummed, painful but alive. Growing stronger every day. They hadn't completed it. Hadn't made it official. But it was there. Undeniable. "Whatever happens tonight," Killian said quietly, his words meant for all of them, "we face it together. No one separates us. No one breaks us. We're pack. We're family. We're pack," Storm and Sage repeated. Arya didn't say anything. Just held them tighter. Then the alarm bells rang. "They're here," someone shouted. "At the east gate. Hundreds of them." Killian released his family. His expression shifted, from father to Alpha King in a heartbeat. "Storm, Sage, you know the plan. Stay with Luna Vera in the safe room. Don't come out until I give the all clear." "But," Storm started. "No buts." Killian's Alpha command left no room for argument. "Protect your sister. That's your job tonight." Storm's jaw set, but he nodded. He took Sage's hand and ran for the safe room. "And me?" Arya asked. Killian looked at her. His eyes were fierce. Possessive. "You fight beside me. Like you were always meant to." They ran together through the palace corridors. Guards rushed past, heading for defensive positions. Servants fled to safety. The organized chaos of a pack preparing for war. They reached the east courtyard to find hell had arrived. Shadow wolves poured through the gates, creatures of darkness and twisted magic. They looked like wolves but wrong. Their forms shifted and flickered like smoke. Their eyes burned with red fire. They made no sound as they attacked, just silent, deadly efficiency. And they couldn't be killed. Arya watched warriors tear into the shadow wolves with teeth and claws. Watched the creatures dissolve into smoke, then reform seconds later. Attacking again. Tireless. Unstoppable. Dark magic, Luna Vera appeared beside them, her face grim. Necromancy. They're not really alive, so you can't kill them. They'll keep coming until the spell is broken. How do we break the spell? Killian demanded. Kill the caster. Thorn is somewhere nearby, maintaining the magic. Find him, stop him, and the shadow wolves disappear. Spread out. Killian's command rang across the courtyard. Search teams, find Elder Thorn. Everyone else. Hold the line. Don't let them reach the palace. The battle was chaos. Arya shifted, her brown wolf joining the defensive line. She couldn't kill the shadow wolves, but she could slow them down. She fought beside pack members she'd known for only a week, protecting wolves who'd accepted her despite everything. The shadow wolves were relentless. For every one that dissolved, 2 more appeared. They were being overwhelmed. Fall back, someone shouted. Fall back to secondary positions. The warriors retreated in organized groups. Protecting each other. Moving toward better defensive positions. But Arya saw the problem. They were being herded. Driven toward the central palace. Exactly where the children were. This wasn't a random attack. It was strategic. They're after Storm and Sage, she shouted at Killian. This whole thing, it's a distraction. Killian's eyes widened. The safe room. Go. They ran. Through corridors filled with smoke and shadow. Past windows showing more shadow wolves scaling the walls. The palace was being overrun. They burst into the safe room to find Luna Vera defending the doorway. The elderly wolf was in combat form, her gray fur matted with blood. 3 shadow wolves circled her. Get the children out. Vera snarled. There's a hidden passage, behind the bookshelf. A shadow wolf lunged. Vera met it mid-leap. Arya and Killian rushed past, into the room where it was empty. The twins were gone. No. The word tore from Arya's throat. No, no, no. The passage. Killian ran to the bookshelf. Found the hidden mechanism. The wall swung open, revealing a dark tunnel. They must have gone through. They plunged into the darkness. The tunnel was narrow, carved through stone. It sloped downward. Away from the palace. Toward the sacred grounds where pack ceremonies were held. Where blood moon rituals happened. They emerged into the ceremonial circle to find Elder Thorn waiting. He stood in the center of the stone circle, his hands raised. Dark magic swirled around him, shadows that moved with malevolent intelligence. And at his feet, bound with silver chains, were Storm and Sage. Welcome, Alpha King, Thorn said pleasantly. Right on time. Let them go. Killian's voice was deadly quiet. Let them go and I'll make your death quick. Such bravado. But you're not in a position to make threats. Thorn gestured to the shadows. They solidified into a barrier around the children. One wrong move and the darkness consumes them. Slowly. Painfully. While you watch. What do you want? Arya demanded. What I've always wanted. Power. Thorn's smile was terrible. The pack system is corrupt. Outdated. Built on hierarchy and fear. I'm going to tear it all down. Create something new from the ashes. Wolf anarchy, Killian said. Marcus told us. You're working with rogues to overthrow all pack structures. I'm liberating wolves from tyranny. Thorn's voice rose. For too long, alphas have ruled through blood and violence. I'm offering freedom. True freedom. No more bowing to kings. No more following orders. Every wolf for themselves. That's not freedom, Arya said. That's chaos. Chaos is honest. Thorn's eyes blazed. Better than your precious order that's built on lies and manipulation. Better than a system where moon priestesses are hunted. Where mates are rejected for political gain. Where children are weapons to be contained. Is that what this is about? Killian's hands clenched. Revenge? Because the council made decisions you disagreed with? This is about revolution. Thorn's magic flared. The shadow wolves surrounding the twins tightened. Storm cried out in pain. And these children, these prophecy wolves, they're the key. Their power, corrupted and controlled, will fuel my new order. A world where strength is the only law that matters. You're insane, Arya whispered. I'm visionary. Thorn began chanting. Dark words in an ancient language. The shadows around Storm and Sage began to seep into their skin. The twins screamed. No. Arya lunged forward. The shadow barrier threw her back. She hit the ground hard, tasting blood. Killian shifted, his massive black wolf charging Thorn. But the shadows caught him too. Wrapped around his legs. His throat. Squeezing. You can't stop this, Thorn said. The ritual has begun. Their power will be mine. And with it, I'll raise an army of shadow wolves that will sweep across the realm. No pack will stand against me. Arya watched her children struggle. Watched the darkness enter them. Watched their silver eyes dim as Thorn's magic took hold. She felt the broken mate bond with Killian. Felt him dying in the shadow's grip. Felt everything she loved slipping away. No. The word echoed in her mind. In her soul. Not like this. Not again. She'd lost Killian once. Had spent 6 years believing he'd rejected her out of cruelty. Had built walls around her heart to survive the pain. But she understood now. Understood his impossible choice. Understood that he'd been trying, however wrongly, to save her. And she loved him. Still. Always. The mate bond flared to life, not broken, not dormant, but waiting. Waiting for them to choose it. To claim it. To make it real. Killian, she gasped. The bond. We have to complete it. Even dying, even choking in shadow, Killian understood. His silver eyes found hers across the distance. Yes, his wolf whispered to hers. Yes. Always yes. Arya didn't know the formal words. Didn't remember the ritual phrases. She just spoke from her heart. I, Arya Winters, claim you, Killian Blackwood, as my mate. My alpha. My love. I choose you. I forgive you. I claim you. The bond sparked. Flared. Killian's voice joined hers, rough with pain but absolute in conviction. I, Killian Blackwood, claim you, Arya Winters, as my mate. My Luna. My heart. I choose you. I've always chosen you. I claim you. The mate bond snapped into place. Not broken. Not damaged. Complete. The power that exploded from them was like nothing Arya had ever felt. Her moon priestess gifts merged with Killian's alpha power. Silver-white light and black-gold strength combining, amplifying, becoming something new. Something unstoppable. The shadows binding Killian dissolved. He shifted back to human form, his body glowing with combined power. Impossible, Thorn breathed. The bond was rejected. It can't. It was never fully broken, Arya said. She stood, and power radiated from her like moonlight. It was dormant. Waiting for us to be ready. To choose each other freely. And now we have, Killian finished. He moved to Arya's side. Their hands found each other. Connected. The power doubled. They moved as one, not consciously, but instinctively. Arya's moon priestess magic creating barriers of light. Killian's alpha command shattering Thorn's control. Together, they tore through the shadow magic like it was paper. The darkness around Storm and Sage shattered. The twins gasped, freed. And their eyes, both of them, began to glow. Silver-white, exactly like Arya's. But brighter. Stronger. No! Thorn screamed. He threw more power at them. More shadows. More death magic. But Storm and Sage stood together, their small hands joined. And the prophecy power that had been dormant in them awakened fully. Storm's alpha command rang out. Stop. Every shadow wolf in the realm froze. Held by the command of a 5-year-old who carried both Alpha King and Moon Priestess bloodlines. Sage's eyes glowed brighter. She looked at Thorn, and when she spoke, her voice carried the weight of ancient prophecy. Your darkness cannot stand against true light. Your chaos cannot break true pack. Your hatred cannot destroy true love. Her small voice rang like a bell. The prophecy is fulfilled. True mates reunited. Prophecy wolves born. The darkness falls. The light from Arya and Killian, amplified by their children, exploded outward. It was pure. Clean. Absolute. It swept across the ceremonial grounds. Across the palace. Across the entire territory. Every shadow wolf dissolved. Not just dispersed, destroyed. The dark magic that created them burned away like fog in sunlight. Thorn screamed as his power was ripped away. The shadows he'd been wielding turned on him, consuming him from within. No. This isn't, I was supposed to. The darkness was supposed to win. The darkness already lost, Killian said coldly. The moment you threatened my family. Thorn collapsed. His body twisted, corrupted by the very magic he'd wielded. Within seconds, he was nothing but ash. Silence fell. The blood moon still hung in the sky, but its crimson glow was fading. Returning to normal. The darkness had passed. Arya fell to her knees, exhausted. Killian caught her. Storm and Sage ran to them, and they collapsed together in a heap. Tired, wounded, but alive. Is it over? Storm asked quietly. Yes, Arya whispered. It's over. The shadow wolves? Gone. All of them. And the bad man? Gone too. Storm was quiet for a moment. Then, good. I didn't like him. Despite everything, Arya laughed. Trust her son to sum up a deadly enemy with such simple honesty. Come on. Killian helped them all stand. Let's go home. They walked back through the palace. Exhausted warriors were emerging from defensive positions, staring at the sky in wonder. The shadow wolves were gone. The battle was won. The Alpha King, someone shouted. He did it. He saved us. Not just him, Killian said firmly. His arm wrapped around Arya. We did it. Together. My mate and my children and every warrior who fought tonight. Cheers rose. Not just for Killian. For all of them. For the family that had saved the realm. The next morning, the Alpha Summit convened as planned. But the mood was completely different. Instead of suspicion and fear, there was respect. Awe. Every Alpha who'd witnessed the battle, or heard about it, looked at Arya and the twins with new eyes. The prophecy is real, Alpha Warren said formally. We all saw it. The mate bond's power. The children's gifts. The darkness falling. The old council is dissolved, Luna Vera announced. Elder Thorn's treachery, his use of dark magic, his attempted coup, it's all been documented. We're rebuilding from scratch. With transparency. With accountability. And the royal family, someone asked. Killian stood. Pulled Arya to her feet beside him. I formally claim Arya Winters as my queen. Not through political arrangement. Not through council approval. Through mate bond and choice and love. She is my Luna. And anyone who questions that can face me directly. Silence. Then, one by one, every alpha in the room stood, bowing their heads in respect. Long live the Queen, Alpha Warren said. Long live the Queen, the others echoed. Tears burned Arya's eyes. 6 years ago, she'd been rejected in front of hundreds. Now she was being accepted. Honored. Claimed. And the children, Killian continued. Storm and Sage are my heirs. Crown Prince and Crown Princess. They will be trained. Protected. Allowed to grow into their gifts. And anyone who threatens them will face the full might of the royal pack. More bowing. More acceptance. The prophecy wolves are not threats, Luna Vera added. They are blessings. Gifts to be cherished. The realm is entering a new era, one where Moon Priestess gifts are honored, not feared. Where mates are chosen freely, not manipulated. Where children are protected, not contained. A new era, Killian agreed. Built on truth. On family. On pack bonds that can't be broken by politics or fear. The summit concluded with unanimous support. The new council would be elected by pack vote, not appointed by shadowy elders. Laws would be reviewed, updated. The old ways that led to corruption and manipulation would be replaced. It would take time. Years, probably. But change had begun. That evening, they held a mating ceremony. The real one this time. Arya wore white. Simple but beautiful. Storm and Sage stood beside her as witnesses, their faces glowing with pride. Killian wore black. His silver eyes never left Arya's face. The priestess conducting the ceremony smiled. Do you, Killian Blackwood, take Arya Winters as your mate? To honor, protect, and cherish? In joy and sorrow? In strength and weakness? For all your days? I do, Killian said. His voice rang clear. Absolute. I choose her. I've always chosen her. And I will spend every day proving that choice was right. Do you, Arya Winters, take Killian Blackwood as your mate? To honor, support, and love? Through trials and triumphs? In darkness and light? For all your days? Arya looked at Killian. At the man who'd destroyed her and rebuilt her. Who'd made terrible mistakes and was trying, really trying, to be better. At the man she loved. Still. Always. I do, she said softly. I choose him. I forgive him. And I will stand beside him, building our future together. Then by the power of the moon and the ancient laws of wolfkind, I declare you mated. Bound by love and choice and destiny. What the moon has joined, let no wolf tear asunder. Killian pulled Arya close. Their lips met in a kiss that was both ending and beginning. The broken bond between them sealed completely. Whole. Perfect. When they broke apart, Storm and Sage cheered. The assembled pack howled their approval. That night, after the celebrations ended, the family gathered on the palace balcony. Storm and Sage played together, their laughter carrying on the wind. Arya and Killian stood together, his arms wrapped around her from behind. We did it, Arya said quietly. We survived. More than survived. We won. Killian's voice was warm against her ear. We built something new. Something better. It wasn't easy. Nothing worth having ever is. He turned her to face him. But I'd do it all again. Every trial. Every pain. Every moment. Because it led me back to you. Sap, Arya teased. But tears shone in her eyes. You're sap, Killian corrected. He kissed her forehead. Forever. They stood together, watching the sunrise paint the sky in gold and pink. A new day. A new beginning. Storm looked up at them, his silver eyes bright. Mama? Papa? I have a question. What is it, baby? Arya asked. Are we safe now? Really safe? Killian crouched down, meeting his son's eyes. Safe is something we build, Storm. Every day. By standing together. By protecting our pack. By choosing love over fear. So yes, as long as we stay together, we're safe. Good. Storm smiled. Because I like it here. I like having a home. A real home. Me too, Sage added. A home with Mama and Papa and Storm. That's all I ever wanted. Arya's chest tightened. That's all any of us wanted, baby. She looked at Killian over the children's heads. Saw her own emotions reflected in his eyes. Love. Gratitude. Hope. They'd been broken. Separated. Destroyed by lies and manipulation. But they'd found their way back. Built something stronger from the ruins. Some bonds break, Arya thought. Shatter completely beyond repair. But ours was only waiting to be reforged, stronger than ever. And as the sun rose over the realm, painting everything in new light, Arya knew their story was just beginning. The prophecy was fulfilled. The darkness defeated. The family united. Everything else? That was just the adventure of living. And she couldn't wait to see what came next. The end. Thank you for listening to this story. Like, share and subscribe for more.